Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. I hope you guys are all doing well out here. We got to jump into this trial. The trial started a half hour sooner than I thought. So they have just started. Obviously, Team Heard is still talking with Amber. They're still questioning her. She's still on the stand right now. And take a listen. I think this is very interesting. To me, it sounds like they were watching some videos and looking at some things, in my personal opinion. So we're going to be watching it. We're going to be watching this live. I appreciate everybody who's going to be coming in and watching it with me. I'm going to be in and out because I didn't know that we are starting so soon. I still got to get my coffee. I still got things to take care of really quick, but I will be back into this conversation with you guys. But they're already covering a lot of things that people have been making big deals about. They're trying to retract and everything. They had a week to figure things out. Definitely know that they were on their phones and on social media listening and watching what everybody had to say about her her examination or her testimony thus far. But anyway, before we get going, please do me a favor, hit that like button down below, crush it, send it all the way past 100 as you guys start to file in. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the Pascal Show. And do not forget to hit that subscribe button. It'd be really great to have you part of the family. All right. Anyway, got to jump into this. We're going to get things popping. I appreciate all y'all for tuning in with me today. And we got some things to get into. So let's get into into this madness, which is the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. She's back still on the stand. Let's see how she finesses out of this one. Let's go.
Thank you. And we may need to, Sammy, if you listen, and we may need to turn that volume up. Sometimes your control is a little bit better than what we have, Max.
I see somebody who's changing always into different versions of a person that I recognize for a brief moment, and then he slips away, and he disappears. And then I get a different version of him. I get the insecure, scared version of him that lashes out in a different medium every time. So if it's Adderall Junkie Johnny, then he's abusive, and he's a bully, and he's a tyrant, and he's mean, he's reactionary, and he's incendiary, and anything I do and say is cause for violence or anger. If I speak to him honestly, bluntly from the heart, I'm yelling at him. If I argue back with him, then I'm abusive. If I don't say anything, then I am dismissive or absent or what's wrong or somewhere else. If I engage with him, I'm part of the problem. I'm yelling, I'm mean. If I don't engage with him, then I'm part
They lowered the volume, not me. I don't know what that is. That's wild.
Because if I look at him the wrong way, he's a problem. If I say the wrong thing, God knows what it is. I'm the problem. I'm the problem. Either way. That's the guy who's on a bunch of fucking speed.
What did you mean when you were saying that to Mr. Depp?
That no matter, my perception was that no matter what I did, no matter what I did to de-escalate, walk away from him, to confront him, to try to, nothing I did made a difference. Nothing I did changed his rage at me. Nothing I did changed the violence towards me. Nothing I did calmed him down. And I was constantly doing a juggling act of what kind of version of Johnny I was dealing with. There were different versions of him, and they were drastically different from one another. And even more so than them being different from one another, they didn't even sometimes remember what the other version did or said. They acted almost
like independent versions of this person, depending on what combination of drugs and alcohol he was on. That's what I was trying to express to him. It's just the futility of me responding and successfully, and the futility of trying to constantly negotiate with him and the substances he was on at the time.
I'm going to take you to April 15, 2015, the premiere of When I Live My Life Over Again. What, if anything, did you do for that premiere?
I believe that premiere was in New York City. It was a small independent film I shot. I went back to New York to attend the premiere.
Michelle, can you bring up Defendants Exhibit 421, please? Does this accurately depict the scene portrayed in this picture?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm going to move the admission of Defendants Exhibit 421.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, 421 in evidence.
May we publish to the
Publish
jury? Thank you. Amber, could you please describe for the jury what this picture is?
That is a picture of me a few months, I believe this is April of 2015, so it's a few months after the March incident that happened in Australia, early March, in which Johnny held me down on the countertops and my arms were cut on the glass
And
in that attack.
And if we could draw attention to your arm there, are those scars? What are those? Please describe for the jury what those are.
Those are scars that I obtained while Johnny was strangling me and assaulting me on the countertop in Australia.
Michelle, can you bring up Defendants Exhibit 423, please?
Oh boy.
And does this accurately portray the scene shown?
Yes, that's
Hold on a second. I'm going to
Yes.
move the admission of Defendants 423, please.
no objection.
423 in evidence.
Thank you.
Publish.
May we publish? All right, and please describe to the jury what this shows.
It is a picture of me on a red carpet. You can see my scars. Even though I have makeup on them, they're a bit harder to cover because they're rather fresh.
She's
Now,
just getting warmed
After
up,
this,
y'all.
in April of 2015, you returned to Australia with Mr. Depp, did you not?
Objection leading.
She is
Oh,
just getting warmed up, guys.
Okay, and tell the jury about
Let's
that
see.
trip.
Well, after Johnny was able to get clean off of the coke and the other drugs enough to get the hand surgery he needed, there commenced a period of time of sobriety for Johnny. He his doctor had fired him and then came on when Johnny agreed to get clean.
Objection, hearsay, non-responsive.
Debbie from downtown.
Uh,
Good call right there.
Don't
5,
say
4, 3,
what,
2,
I mean,
1.
Your Honor, we've already had the testimony from Dr. Kipper, but don't say what Dr. Kipper did. Just tell the other part. Just don't say what somebody else said. Okay?
So there was this period of sobriety after that. And Johnny was very committed to being clean and sober. And I thought we had finally done it. We finally did it. We were through it and we were never going back, meaning he was going to be clean and sober for good this time. And we had a wonderful period of, we fell back in love, or deeper in love than we were before. It seemed things were so good. We were talking about a future again. We were talking about having kids. I mean, when Johnny wasn't using, it was so peaceful. We had we had a good time together. We went back to Australia like that, in that state, and had a few months. We even had my parents come and visit us in Australia, and we were talking about babies and about buying a farm and, looking for homes in California. And we were in a really beautiful, peaceful period. It was wonderful. It was wonderful.
Now, how did you stay at the same place that you did the earlier time in Australia?
We went back to a very remodeled version of that home. Remodeled, very cleaned up version of that home. Same walls, same structure, but looked a bit different, as you can imagine.
How did you feel going back to that home, given what had happened in March, early March?
You know, the home isn't the problem. You know, if you're living in domestic violence, you don't just not go home. You know, you don't just not go into the kitchen just because you were slapped in that kitchen. People living in domestic violence live in their homes. That's almost, you know, the home isn't the problem. That's the normal part of your home. And for me, you know, Johnny was my home. Where we were a couple was my home. And that home was often really violent, but it wasn't the structure itself. It was Johnny. And when we went back to Australia, that home, Johnny, was in a completely different, you know, he had done a complete 180, clean, sober, present, calm. We were peaceful. I mean, any of the gripes and the problems that he seemed to have about me went away when he was sober. And so we had we managed to go back to that same house, but in a very different way. It felt very different.
June 16, 2015, the Magic Mike tour. Where did you go for that tour?
While I was in Australia, I got the call for that press tour and went to Europe for the press tour for that movie. And, you know, I was nervous because problems arise when I'm having to work when I leave.
Objection, non-responsive.
That was still responsive.
Well, sustain the objection. Next question.
Michelle, can you please bring up Defendants Exhibit 447? I'm going to ask you first, does this accurately portray the scene depicted?
Yes.
Your Honor, remove the admission of Defendants Exhibit 447.
No objection.
447 in evidence. You can publish.
Thank you. And Michelle, if you could zoom in just a little bit closer. Amber, could you tell the jury about this picture?
Yes, that's me on the red carpet promoting the Magic Mike movie I was in. You can see the scars on my body, on my arms.
Okay.
You can't see everything, of course, but.
Okay. And Michelle, can you bring up Defendants Exhibit 449? And Amber, does this accurately depict the scene portrayed?
Yes, it does.
Your Honor, remove the admission of Defendants 449.
No
All
objection.
right. 449 in evidence. Publish.
And Amber, could you please describe to the jury what this portrays?
This is, you can see the scars on my arm from that attack. Also around this time, Johnny was calling me on the phone before and after, you know, while I was doing these press events, and sometimes I would be on the phone with him, kind of managing accusations about why I didn't pick up sooner, didn't text back sooner, and sometimes I actually on this tour many times had to delay getting out of the car or
Objection, non-responsive.
I'll ask that. How did Mr. Depp react to your going on this press tour?
he was very upset with me. I just remember crying on the phone with him a lot and having to hang up to go do press events.
All right, thank you. Now, I'm going to take you to the Southeast Asia train trip. That was your honeymoon trip, correct?
Yes, it was.
Okay, and that was July 25, 2015?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
Okay. Michelle, I'm going to ask you to bring up Plaintiff's Exhibit 162. It's already into evidence. Now, Mr. McGivern testified that he took this picture in July of 2013. Would you agree?
Objection, misstates prior testimony.
That's exactly what he testified to.
It was
It
Malcolm.
wasn't.
I have the transcript.
I don't know. Go ahead and ask your
It's
question.
Mr. McConnelly.
Is that correct?
I believe Malcolm Conley took this on the on the Orient Express.
Malcolm Connolly, not Travis McGivern?
I believe it was Malcolm on that trip with us. Yes.
Okay, and was it in 2013 or was it 2015?
It was in 2015,
Okay,
July.
and please describe, if you can, what transpired during this trip.
Well, the train trip itself was peaceful up until Johnny wanted to start drinking brown alcohol. He had already started drinking champagne. When I returned from the press tour, that's what he was drinking, wine and champagne. When he wrapped on Pirates 5, the plan was for us to do this honeymoon. I was walking a bit on eggshells because I know a pattern, but I was not wanting to accept that we had gone back to a pattern at all. And so we were on this train, and on the last night we were on the train, after this was taken, this photo, Johnny and I got in an argument about him wanting to be allowed, meaning wanting me to agree to him drinking liquor and being okay with it. And an argument followed that in our sleeping car. Johnny slapped me across the face and held me up by kind of got a hold of my neck and pushed me up against the wall of the cart. It was a small, narrow sleeper cart, and there were two beds, one on each side. He had me up against the wall while he was standing on the floor in between the beds, and I was on the bed, kind of half kneeling, half standing, trying to get his arms off my neck. And he was squeezing my neck against the railway car for what felt like a very long time. And every time he kind of would pull me away from the side of the car, he'd slam me up against the wall. And I remember looking down at him and trying to get his arms off of my neck. And I remember thinking that he could not even mean to kill me. I remember being scared that he wouldn't even mean to do it. And kind of looking down at him because I was slightly above him as he was standing on the ground, and kind of clawing at him, trying to get him to, his arms away from my neck. I remember I had at one point he ripped the top of my shirt. I don't really remember what it was, but I remember I had a breast exposed. At some point, I pull at his lapel of his shirt, and he rips the shirt off of him and wraps it around my neck. And that's how I woke up. The next morning, actually, I woke up with it still around my neck.
All eyes.
And with
Absolutely
giant
straight
knot
cap,
in the
yo.
back of my head.
Did you keep a diary at that time?
Yes, I did.
Michelle, can you bring up Defendants Exhibit 461?
Objection, hearsay.
It is a diary, Your Honor, and I will just ask her some questions about it rather than trying to
A
admit
diary.
into evidence at this point.
The joy catcher, this is exactly what we're saying.
go ahead.
She had many text
What if,
messages with other people
anything
corroborating,
Do you
trying to corroborate with her
recall
story.
About recording
It's just all
what
one big mess.
transpired on that train.
Objection, hearsay.
I'm just asking her whether she did. I'm not asking what she recorded.
All right, I'll allow it. Go ahead. Overruled.
I wrote about what happened that night the next morning.
Thank you.
So
Now,
if Johnny
did
had a
Mr. Depp
diary,
suffer any
why?
injuries on that trip?
So stupid.
Not that I saw. I have a lot of pictures from that trip, and he's uninjured.
Thank you. You can take that down, Michelle. Thank you. Now, I'm going to keep you in July of 2015. And Michelle, I'm going to ask you to bring up Depp Exhibit 390A. It's a recording. And then I'm going to be asking about from 3:30 to 4:12.
She said colon.
I'm
But
gonna
yeah,
move the
she got a
admission, Your
diary,
Honor.
y'all.
It's another recording between Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard. There's nobody else in
It's
there.
plaintiffs, what number was it?
It's plaintiffs, it's 390A.
Okay. Any objection to 390A?
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Okay.
Amber Heard has a diary now.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Now she got excuse me. Now she's got a diary. And yes, the Joy Catcher said something earlier. Yeah, she was telling other people. She was in communication, in communicato with other friends of hers and stuff like that, telling them about these things. I guess to create a breadcrumb
Any
or a
objection
trail
then?
of breadcrumbs
No
of some
objection.
All
sort.
right, 390A and
But
evidence.
let's go. Let's hear this audio.
I saw you doing it earlier, whatever. It's fine, it's secretive. It's deceitful. You already you had trouble with me before when you said to me that you didn't feel like you were told when I was recording you. So please stop.
You didn't.
Please stop.
You did not.
Please stop.
Fucking acknowledge what I'm saying before you keep making demands. You are not a school
Okay.
teacher. Shut the fuck up.
Doesn't
Listen to
shut
me, and then you can fucking respond. Understand? You ain't nobody's fucking mom. You ain't no school teacher. Don't fucking pretend to be authoritative with me.
Okay, fine.
You don't exist.
Keep it on.
What were you discussing in that call?
We were discussing whether or not it was all right to record each other without the other's permission. And Johnny said it didn't matter anymore, the requirement of that permission from me. I was trying to say, hey, we agreed.
Okay. Let's go to August 2015. Please describe your relationship with Mr. Depp in that time frame.
You said August?
August 2015.
August 2015 was a very difficult time. Following the brief honeymoon we had, Johnny's use continued, well, started again is a better way to describe it. And lo and behold, so did our disagreements, coincidentally, not coincidentally. I got an offer to do a job, which was already a problem.
I completely agree,
problematic.
Mystic.
I was
Thank you for the
considering
10
working
pounds.
on a TV series that had James Franco in it.
It's gonna be
I
epic.
was asked if I would meet with the people who are making the show.
Objection, hearsay.
It's not offered to prove the truth of the matter. asserted.
Overrule.
Thank you.
And so I was considering taking that job. And there was a possibility it would require brief nudity, which I knew I would have to negotiate down. But obviously that was a problem for Johnny. Didn't want me to do that. Didn't want me to work. And frankly, I needed to. And there was another film I had coming out that I had previously shot. It's called London Fields. It was a source of a lot of fighting between us because of the sexuality in the role. It was a constant negotiation between myself and the filmmakers. They made a film, and Johnny told me that he had heard about it, was unhappy with some of what he had heard. He was unhappy with me having done a sex scene in it that he claimed I didn't tell him about. I did not actually film the scene he was speaking of. He demanded that we watch a screener of it, which is a version of the film before it's released. We got one sent to where we were at the time, Johnny's Chateau in France. It's in a remote part of France. And once again, we're in this remote place and we're screening this film that I appeared in. And there was a sex scene in that movie that started before Johnny freaked out because it looked like me. They had used a body double. Unbeknownst to me, without my permission, they used a body double to do a sex scene. So I have an incredibly jealous man who already is upset with me for breaking the rule that I had a sex scene. On top of that, I'm telling him it wasn't me. I didn't shoot that scene. And you can imagine how upset he was. He was irate and was calling me a liar, a whore, among other things. And we had this, that combined with the fact that I had even entertained doing this job that involved James Franco was a pressure cooker. I called it a week of hell later.
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
Johnny at one point slapped me in the face in our bedroom in the chateau that we were staying in. At another moment, he punched me across the jaw. At one point, he kind of either pushed or threw. It's hard to describe to you which of those two it is because I can't tell you. I just know I went flying into this old church furniture. I later thought I had a concussion. It was the first time I thought I had sustained a concussion.
Wait, what?
And I wrote about it later.
In her diary, which will be on sale
Did there
soon.
come a time in this time frame that you found a folder on Mr. Depp's computer?
Man, this is crazy.
Yes.
What was it labeled?
It was on Johnny's opening page, his desktop. It said, "No fun for JD," in all caps.
And what was in that folder?
It was a collection of pictures of me from various red carpets, starting on the press tours that I had been on, where it zoomed in pictures of what he thought was, like inappropriate clothing, side boob, cleavage, anytime I moved.
Objection calls for speculation.
Sounds crazy.
All right. I'll sustain as to what
Okay.
she believes it was.
Okay. What pictures were in that folder that we have seen today?
The ones I saw of the kind of rose gold dress and the red dress were both in that file.
Now, what, if anything, did Mr. Depp say to you or ask you about how you got those cuts on your arms?
Nothing.
What, if anything, has Mr. Depp ever said to you or asked you about any injuries that you've sustained over those years?
Johnny's obviously never asked me how I got any of those scars.
Did you ever witness Mr. Depp self-injuring himself?
Often. He did that often.
Please tell the jury about that. What did he do?
I first started, I can't tell you what I told my therapist, but I almost called 911 in New York in 2014, August of 2014, I believe, because I thought he had done himself an injury. He often in fights would cut his arms or hold a knife to his chest or draw blood superficially at first, but later, like in 2016, especially as our relationship was ending. He also put cigarettes out on himself. He'd flick them at me and once or twice tried to put one out on me, but mostly he would do it while screaming at me. He once did it right in front of me, screaming at my face as he put the cigarette out on his cheek.
Now, I'm going to take you to September 15, 2015, and Michelle, if we can bring up Depp Exhibit, that's Plaintiff's Exhibit 345A. This is another audio recording, and it's 5:54 to 7:55. I'd like to move the admission, Your
All
Honor.
right. Any objection?
No objection.
All right. 345A in evidence. Thank you.
If you can play, Michelle, please.
I was gonna pour you one.
I'm not alcoholic. You should.
I don't have control over how much you drink. But you don't have any control over whether I tell you the truth or not. Have you changed lately? Yeah, you've changed.
Well, your truth is really interesting too.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm the first
Give me a
person
glass
that's
of wine,
noticed.
please, so I can go downstairs.
Okay. Yes. Your escape route. I see.
Not escape them. What you got?
Oh, of course. 15 minutes, just like last time.
15.
Just like last time. When I had to pull you out of the bathroom. Well, when you passed out naked in the bathroom in there.
Did you pull me out?
I tried to.
Did?
Yeah.
Did you inside?
It didn't get inside.
Well, how did you try to pull me
By pounding on the door and waking you up every 15 minutes and then falling asleep next to the door so I could hear you snore in case if you vomited, I could call EMS if you ever stopped snoring.
Because you were afraid I was going to die.
I thought you would choke on your own vomit, which is very likely with you.
Really?
Yes, very likely.
I'd vomit a lot.
Yes.
What?
Yes, you do vomit a lot in your sleep.
Really?
Oh, it's news to you? Then this is affecting you a lot more than I thought it was.
That'll be so good. I hope so.
What, you don't vomit a lot? Are you gonna tell me that? What do you mean you're gonna tell me you don't vomit a lot? You're always with me. I just want to let you try.
Please explain to the jury what the issue was in this particular tape
Come
recording.
on, man.
Well, Johnny at the time was wanting to go and drink downstairs at a bar, and we were talking about 15 minutes because the last several times he had done that, it had been days. He'd disappear on a bender, get really sick, and you know the drill by now, having heard enough from me. So another issue that we were having at the time, or that he was having at the time, that affected me is that he would pass out and vomit, and vomited very, very regularly at this stage. He was obviously drinking again. I'd given up fighting with him on that at that stage. And what I had a habit of doing is turning him over onto his side so he doesn't choke on his own vomit.
Seems like it, Missy.
It's very common for people who do that to asphyxiate. At least that's what I understood. So the advice I got was to turn him to his side, put a pillow underneath his back, and turn his head so that he didn't asphyxiate. And one time I was doing that and he swung at me, and I told medical, and the advice, after I got their advice, I realized I can't say what the advice was, but after I got that advice, I stopped doing that. I tried to, as much as I could, leave him and just be ready to call 911 or help if I heard him choking. And sometimes that happened behind bathroom doors.
Well, and that's going to take me to September 27, 2015. Again, Depp, that's Plaintiff's Exhibit 356A, and the recording is 3107 to 3230. I'm going to move the admission, Your Honor.
Any objection to that?
Rohit, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. It seems like he did everything in his sleep.
No objection.
All right. 356A in evidence.
Thank you, Your Honor. Michelle, thank you.
He did everything in his sleep,
That you
apparently.
punched me in the
You're right.
fucking thing, and you spit
figured
in the
it
face,
out.
and you said, "No, fuck it, no, I didn't. What the fuck are you talking about?" And I
didn't
watched
punch
you
you.
lie, and then
I
I
didn't punch you,
and
by
then
the way. I'm sorry that I didn't
You,
hit
punched
you across the face in a proper slap, but I was hitting you. It was not punching you. Babe, you're not punched.
Don't tell me what it feels like to be punched.
You know, even a lot of fights been around a long time. No. Yeah.
No, when you fucking have a closed
You
fist.
get punched. You got hit. I'm sorry I hit you like this, but I did not punch you. I did not fucking deck you. I fucking was hitting you.
You can't
I don't know
deck
what the
punch is a
motion
hit.
of my actual hand was, but you're fine. I did not hurt you. I did not punch you. I was hitting you.
How are your toes?
Now, what am I supposed to do? Do this?
How are your
I'm not
toes?
sitting here bitching about it, am I? You are.
Oh,
That's the difference
you
between
poor
me
soul.
and you. You're a fucking baby.
Because you start
You
physical
are
fights.
such a baby.
Because
Grow
you-
the fuck up.
Because you start
Johnny.
physical fights.
I did start a physical fight.
Yeah, you did. So I had to get the
Because-
fuck out of there.
Yes, you did. So you did the right thing, the big thing. You know what? You're admirable. Every single time. What's your excuse when there's not a physical fight? Then what's the excuse there?
That right
You're
there.
still being admirable, right? Just like,
That right there, Lady
Running
Justice. Absolutely. Why are they playing this
Amber,
right
please
now
explain to
for
the
her?
jury what's transpiring in that audio recording.
It's not a good
what
look,
that's
Amber.
about.
Not a good
Well,
look.
there's two different situations that we're referencing in this fight. Two different altercations between Johnny and I involving the door. The first of which we first start talking about, where I'm talking about hitting him. I am talking about what that conversation is about the disparity, the disparity between Johnny and I in our physical fights, the disparity of how he would proactively punch me and I would have to resort to reactively hitting him. I am talking about the difference between a punch, which Johnny did often, and me having to hit him in my defense. I know the difference between those two, and I'm highlighting the difference between those two. Even if he wasn't twice my size, they're very different, and that's what I'm pointing out to him. The situation that involved, the context of that is, it happened in our bedroom up in Penthouse 3. You've heard us talk about that place. And I was trying to shut a door, our bedroom door, actually. I was trying to barricade myself behind this door, and Johnny was trying to get through the door. He was using his body and his limbs to try to bust through the door as I was trying to keep it closed, because I knew what he would do to me when he got to me on the other side. And I was hitting his arms, his body, as he was trying to prevent me from closing the door. And that is a separate incident that we later talk about in the second half of that recording, where we're talking about my toes. That involved a different incident, which was a bathroom door. And it was one of those ones that he was passing out in. And I could hear him passing out, or what it sounded like to me behind a closed doors passing out. I heard a thud. I heard a lot of commotion. I heard a glass break.
God.
And I hear what sounds like his body falling against the bathroom door. I open it to check on him, as I was accustomed to doing at that time.
15 months,
Johnny
Lady Justice.
violently reacted to me opening the door, pushed it against me. It ran up over my toes, and he angrily came around the side of the door, swinging at me. I naturally pushed the door off of my feet, responding to the pain and also to the awareness, the knowledge that he was coming for me. Johnny later later he blamed me in his inability to understand what happened, in that he was not in his right mind, and he misunderstood that interaction and tried to blame me for starting a physical fight between us. And he even later went so far as to say, I wasn't even going to hit you. And that was the second door. I only could respond by trying to take accountability for my actions in it, what he understood my actions were, and my interpretation. And what I'm trying to say to him is, look, I can only do my best to respond. I was in pain, I was scared, and I can't promise you that when I'm scared and in pain, and I won't react, thinking I know very well what our situation is and what's going to happen to me should I not react.
She be hitting Johnny for sure.
Thank you. So I'm going to play another clip from that same discussion.
None of
and
these-
Your Honor, will be Plaintiff's Exhibit Depp's 356.
None of these audio clips are making Amber Heard look any good. This is all bad. She keeps saying colon. I think it's hilarious. But anyway, this is not good for her. At least not to me. I wonder what the jury's thinking.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, 356B in evidence.
Thank you, Your Honor. Michelle?
I can't promise you that I'll be perfect. I can't promise you I won't get physical again. God, I fucking sometimes get so mad I lose it. I can fucking promise you I'm gonna do everything to change. I promise you, I'm not gonna throw around divorce. I will not say divorce unless I really mean it. Unless it's it. And then I hope you leave me. I'm not going to. And me too. I will leave you. It's fair. I can't do it, you know? And I think, honestly, if we hold each other accountable to that, it's fair.
Please explain to the jury what was going on in that part of the discussion.
That's the same conversation where I am as I was accustomed to doing. I'm taking as much responsibility as I had to in those interactions. I have to, you know, in my relationship with Johnny, and as you have to, and somebody will not and cannot take any accountability for anything they do in a fight, as Johnny couldn't and wouldn't. I took on as much as I could for myself. You know, I had the whole relationship been blamed for everything, for his drinking, for him hitting me, for everything in between, blamed for walking away, blamed for staying. And I blame myself as well. Blame myself for my part in it, blame myself for staying, blame myself for putting up with it. And frankly, at a certain point, it's easier to take the blame, feels easier. It almost feels better to take the blame for something than to accept the senseless nature of the violence you can't change.
Oh, come on.
You know, it's almost more reassuring to take accountability for it than to accept the senseless nature of the violence that you can't change no matter what you do, no matter what I did. No matter what I did, still hit me.
I'm now going to take you to October 5, 2015, and Your Honor, Plaintiff's Exhibit, Depp's Exhibit 393A, it's another recording, 2:40 to 3:43. Move the admission.
No objection.
All right, 393A, plaintiffs in evidence.
Fact of the matter is, Johnny, they don't know. None of your friends, whether they saw a tiny fraction, that was the tip of an iceberg. A tip of an iceberg. That was my reaction to, yet again, this happening. That is the tip of the iceberg. And if you want to use that as some sort of like mental excuse or validation of whatever, of telling your friends or whatever they think, or whatever they think about me or whatever, fine. But they only saw a tip of an iceberg. None of your friends
Let me ask you
and
a
none
question.
of this team have actually been there for one of our fights. They've never actually
that's
seen.
That's not true.
Really? Have they been in the hallway? Yeah.
They've
Have
heard
they
it.
seen? Baby, that is absolutely not true. They have not heard everything.
Nathan
Because
could fucking
you-
quote us.
Great, he can quote a part of it, but he has not been there. No one has actually been there for a fight in its entirety.
No, how could they?
No, exactly. So stop using that as some sort of excuse. Like they see, they know, they work for you, or they're your friends. Then
Please explain to the jury what you were discussing in that
What was that?
conversation.
What was that?
Johnny would often use the fact that his, paid employees, his loyal staff would back him up in fights, and that he would constantly threaten to call them in to validate him. They threatened to call them to come into the room to have them back up him and say that it was, that my yelling or that I'm at fault, that I'm in the wrong, that it's all me. And he would do that in almost all of our fights, especially by 2015, that he would call his friends and he'd call his staff in to back him up. So that I knew and would accept that I'm at fault and that I'm wrong. And that was, what I had to agree to over and over again, just even hope that we could have a conversation at some point in a more therapeutic sense so we could move the conversation along.
No.
That was his MO, if you will. He'd call people that work for him to back him up.
To
I'm
show
gonna
how
take you to
crazy you are.
Thanksgiving 2015. Could you please just tell the jury, and we'll go through this one relatively briefly, but tell the jury about Thanksgiving and any altercations you had with Mr. Depp on that occasion.
Thanksgiving 2015, we had friends over. Johnny had Marilyn Manson over, and I had a few of my friends over. We had a son over, and maybe my father. I'm not entirely sure how long he was there. We had dinner together. Johnny was disappearing with Manson, doing coke.
Objection calls for speculation.
All right, I'll
Damn
sustain that objection.
How do you know he was disappearing with Mr. Manson with coke?
That's what I knew of their relationship at the time. And he was
Objection calls for
disappearing every
speculation.
I'll sustain the objection.
All right.
So
Please continue with the
he
rest.
got up for a longer period of time. not the normal every 5 minutes to go to the bathroom kind, but like he just appeared for a longer period of time. And at this stage, I was really dependent on recognizing the patterns of what he was. I was reliant on trying to figure out what he was on, what combination he was on, so I knew how to deal with him. It was incumbent, on me because it affected my safety. Dealing with somebody who's really high, dealing with Johnny high on coke and speed, meaning Adderall or some version of that, is different from the opiate Johnny, which is different from the booze Johnny, or a different combination. And there was talk of Quaaludes at the time, and Johnny was trying to get it from.
Objection, Your Honor, non-responsive.
Quaaludes.
I'll sustain the objection. I want to ask.
So I was.
Please continue.
So I wanted to know what I was dealing with. It was important to my safety to know
Objection, non-responsive.
I think
That's why I followed him.
All right,
Your Honor.
So
Damn
what
right,
did you do?
LJ.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
What did you do next?
I went upstairs to the apartment, the main apartment, not the apartment that we were celebrating Thanksgiving in, to try to figure out what was going on. And
Objection
we
hearsay.
had an argument that took place downstairs, and I said something to provoke Johnny. I went up the stairs ahead of him to get back to the party. He grabbed me at the top of the stairs, kind of through the stairs actually, by my shirt. Kind of flung me a little bit, but I just remember I went into the bedroom, kind of retreated into the bedroom.
What? Through the stairs?
I had a glass of wine in my hand at the time, which spilled everywhere and shattered. And I kind of retreated into the bedroom. Johnny came in after me, and there was this heavy, like vintage style glass decanter. He picked up the decanter and hurled it at my head, my face. It missed, thankfully, but smashed into a piece of art behind me in the bedroom wall above the bed. I got past him. I think there might have been a bit of shoving. I can't really recall and the sequence of when that happened, but I wanted to go back downstairs, and I passed my closet. I had to change my shirt, and I went back downstairs to the party to finish the evening out, and I put on a face, and we finished the evening with the guests, and then more fighting happened afterwards.
What? She said
We
he
talked
grabbed
about
through
December
the
15,
stairs?
2015, last Thursday.
Make that make sense,
And
y'all.
also the Bahamas over the holidays.
Oh my God.
But I did miss one picture. And Michelle, can you bring up Defendants Exhibit 518?
Do you know how to play the guitar? Or did you learn how to
And
play the
does that
guitar for a
accurately
movie?
depict the scene portrayed?
Get out of here.
Yes, it does.
Your Honor, I'd like to move the admission of Defendants Exhibit 518.
No objection.
All right, 518 defendants and evidence you can publish.
And this is from December 15, I believe. Could you just please tell the jury what this depicts?
He's reacting pretty
Yes,
heavily on
it's
that one.
a picture of my bruised temple, and Johnny had his hand on my on part of my face with my face down, and I was punching my head.
What?
I'm repeatedly punching my head. That's what caused that bruise in my temple.
Then let's
Thank
see it. Can we see it?
Now, we went through the Bahamas before, and you returned from the Bahamas sometime late December, early January, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to take you to January, February of 2016. Can you please describe to the jury what was going on with you and Johnny in this January timeframe after this December 15 and the Bahamas incidents?
After the Bahamas, Johnny's sobriety fell apart. There was just none of it. It was, so he stopped communicating with the medical team that he had hired.
Objection calls for speculation.
How do you know that?
I was there. They fired him.
Objection
Tried to
calls
hold
for
it.
hearsay.
I'll sustain the
Okay.
objection.
Okay.
Muck him up. Come on, girl.
Without telling what the medical people did, go ahead and tell what was going on with you and Johnny.
She's with it. Let's go.
Yeah, his his mental health, for lack of what it looked like, his mental health is just falling apart. It's what it looked like.
Objection calls for speculation.
I'll sustain the objection.
What did you observe that led you to believe that his mental health was falling apart?
He was
Objection, Your Honors. Calls for
She
speculation.
can say what she
Leading.
observed.
I'll sustain the objection as to leading. Next question.
What, if anything, did you observe about Mr. Depp's state?
He was hallucinating, auditory.
Objection calls for speculation.
I'll sustain the objection.
Please tell the jury exactly what he was doing that led you to believe he was hallucinating.
Objection, leading.
Sustain.
What, if anything, was Mr. Depp doing that would have led you to believe he was hallucinating?
Same objection.
Sustained. Sustained.
Please describe what
Come
Mr.
on.
Depp was saying in January of 2016.
He was talking to people who weren't there, meaning people who were not in the room. He was communicating with people and sounds and voices that weren't there. I know because I was sometimes in the room and sometimes on the phone with him. And he would tell me I had a
Ready.
conversation with him that I did
Finger
not
on the
have. He
trigger.
would say I said something that I didn't have. He would comment on somebody being in the room behind me that wasn't there. It was terrifying.
She
It was
decided not to.
terrifying
There we go.
because, once he smashed a board right next to my face, and it was unclear to me whether he was even mad at me or he was convinced that the guy he said he saw me with was in the room. I didn't know if Johnny felt the man was in the room with us or not at that point. But I remember he put his fist through a whiteboard in the kitchen. He hallucinated right in front of me. And
Objection calls for speculation.
Don't use the word hallucinate, just describe what led you to believe
Your
that.
Honor,
I'll
objection.
sustain
Have
the
mercy.
objection. She can testify to what she observed.
Please, thank you, Your Honor. Please tell the jury what you
Your Honor,
observed.
may we approach?
Okay.
I was about to say, damn. Oh my God, guys. Okay. This is when it gets really hairy. Of course, her job, that lawyer, I forgot her name. I think it's Camille or something like that. I don't know. She is doing her damn job. Okay. She gonna do her damn job. And I'm liking every minute of it because she's just saying all kinds of crazy stuff. She shouldn't be saying any of that ish in the first place. And so, of course, she's going to have that finger on the microphone trigger saying objection over and over and over again. She's doing her damn
Tell the
job.
jury what you
Let's go.
observed.
I observed behavior from him that was erratic, irrational, and didn't seem connected to the reality that we
Rohit.
were in.
Good point. Good idea.
Now, I'm going to take you up to the beginning
Good idea.
of February of 2016, February 8, February 9. Please tell the jury what transpired then with respect to Mr. Depp.
Around this time, Johnny was, again, behaving in a way that was very scary. It was terrifying. And sometimes he didn't know.
Objection calls for speculation.
I think she can describe what she's, what are you describing what you're observing?
Yes.
Please continue.
Then describe it.
In these kind of discussions I would have around this time, early February of 2016, sometimes in the argument, he would accuse me of something, some person in the room with me that had just walked out or I was hiding, for instance. And sometimes he would hold on to that even when he seemed to have calmed down or come off of whatever bender he was on. And it was almost as if I had to confront what delusion he had or what belief he had or what accusation he made of me in a new fight altogether. Sometimes he didn't make it clear to me whether he was mad at me or he knew he was mad at me. It was terrifying because I bore the brunt of it. And at around the 8th or 9th, we were in his Sweetser compound, the West Hollywood collection of homes that he has. And I got some cryptic texts from him in the early morning hours that scared me. I won't say what I said, but I came over to his main house. I believe I'd been across the street and I slept on the couch. We had some interaction in the morning, which made me fearful. He didn't know whether or not I was fearful he was going to believe that he was angry at me even though we weren't fighting. I wasn't fighting with him. I had done nothing wrong, but I was really worried that the momentum he was on was going to click into a direction of deciding that he was mad at me and I deserved it. And I was terrified that that was going to happen. So I had an interaction with him and got really worried about that on the morning of the 10th.
All right, Michelle, I'm going to ask you to bring up Defendants Exhibit 638. It's already admitted in evidence, Your Honor. And this is from February 10, 2016. And I'm going to ask you to play it, Michelle.
The infamous.
Motherfucker.
What happened? What happened? Nothing happened this morning, you know that?
Were you in here?
No.
So then nothing happened to you this morning?
Yeah, you're right. I just woke up and you were so sweet and nice. We're not even fighting this morning. All I did was say sorry.
Did something happen to you this morning? I don't think so.
No, that's the thing.
You wanna see crazy? Don't get fucking crazy. That's crazy. Oh, you're crazy. You're
Have
crazy.
you drunk this whole thing this morning?
Oh, you got this. You got this going?
Just started it.
Oh, really? Really? Sweep that shit on me,
No,
motherfucker.
I didn't. You were smashing shit.
Bye.
The mega pint.
Why did you videotape this, Amber?
Let's see what she says.
Because I knew he wouldn't remember. and I had to
Objection,
deny
calls
it.
for speculation.
Lie.
Rather than what you knew, you can say what you thought. Just tell us why you.
I was afraid. It's scary. It's scary. Scared.
Here we go.
Scared they wouldn't remember.
Objection, calls for speculation.
Your Honor,
I'll sustain the objection.
This cross-examination is going to be
So
fire.
I'm going to now take you up to April 21, 2016, your 30th birthday party. Will you please tell the jury what happened that night with respect to, in particular, Mr. Depp?
He at that time we had a fitting that day or the day before, and he missed it, and he was kind of disappearing at that time, like at night, vaguely saying like meetings. He had meetings, but then he'd be gone for sometimes like 2 days, just not coming home and that sort of thing. Coming home after a bender
Calls for speculation
Worse.
as to Bender.
I don't think that calls for speculation.
I'll sustain the objection. He's gone for 2 days. Good.
and
No doubt. Why didn't she leave?
had my birthday was coming up, and
That's right, Susan.
or on my birthday, I said, well, you gonna make it to my birthday party? We had a dinner planned at our penthouse. I said it would be important for me if you made it.
Objection, hearsay.
Not offered to prove the truth of the matter
Overruled.
asserted. Thank you.
And he told me at some point that day that he had scheduled a business meeting or a money meeting. I think he said maybe 7, which is around the time my birthday was planned for. It might have been planned for 8 p.m. He, of course, once my party was starting, he wasn't there. Texted me at some point to let me know that he was going to make it, but that he was running late. And that continued throughout my party. We finished dinner, and we were cleaning up, and kind of everyone was delaying leaving because we were waiting to give him an opportunity to show up before everyone left. And he let me know he was there. I tried to, without saying what I said, I tried to give him the impression that I wasn't going to get on him about drinking or anything. I just wanted him to be there. And we had a toast. We did a celebratory toast. And the guests left. And later that evening, we were in bed, and I had a book, and Johnny effectively said, what's your fucking problem now? And at the time, we were getting advice from therapists without saying what they said. It was important for me not to make him feel attacked. So I chose my words carefully. I won't say what I said, but
because you don't remember it.
I remember being very careful about how I worded what I was feeling about my birthday and him having missed it. An argument followed that. I got up out of bed. Johnny's side of the bed was closer to the door than mine. I remember him blocking the door, blocking me to get out, and kind of shoving me down, and we had a verbal argument, and then that became a shoving match. I tried to shove him back. I kind of felt myself retreat into the bedroom. At some point, he picked up a large, I guess it's a Magnum size, not a normal size, a large size bottle of champagne, and hurled it at me. This time it went through a painting, and I loved this painting. I remember it just went right through the canvas, left a giant hole in it. And I remember thinking we shouldn't have art in our bedroom anymore. And the fight continued into the salon area, which is outside of our bedroom at the top of the stairs. Johnny picked up my phone. I don't know why. I don't remember what he was saying when he did it, but he picked up my phone and threw it out of the open window of the salon area, out onto the street, out onto the downtown street that this window overlooked. In that moment, I went, oh no, you don't. I saw his on the countertop and picked it up and threw his immediately, 2 seconds later. I didn't want to be stranded this time alone, meaning I didn't want to be the only one stranded without a phone, which had happened to me already several times before this from Johnny. So I picked up his phone, threw it as well. And I said that I wanted to go stay somewhere else for the evening. I left that room, went into the office. We were still screaming names at each other and screaming at each other. And I walk around the side of his desk, and the next thing I know, he has me by the hair and he pulls me down. I hit the side of the desk. I remember things flying off of the side of the desk that I hit with my body. I remember trying to fight him off of me. At some point, we're back in my main bedroom, and I believe I was getting my toothbrush out of that bathroom. And when I came out, we had another shoving match, but this one, he kind of I remember he chest bumped me in this bro-y way, chest bumped me and fell to the floor. And when I got back up, he kind of held me down by the shoulders down on the side of the bed, kind of held me, wrestled me down on the bed. I remember I got up once or twice before I ended up on the bed, and he grabbed me, did this thing that he did sometimes when he would taunt me, grab me by the the pubic area. Just as best I can describe it is he kind of just pushed me down, held me down by it, and kind of pulled me into it, and he was asking me, kind of taunting me, asking me if I thought I was so fucking tough. I think you're such a fucking tough guy, huh? Are you so tough now? Look who's so tough. You want to be a man? Tough like a man now? That happened for a bit of time. I'm not quite sure. I think at some point he left. I remember at some point shortly after that, I remember he was still in the apartment when this happened, but I remember kind of collapsing on the floor and being exhausted. It's just, I remember feeling exhausted and crying and kind of throwing in the towel, if you will. I remember saying to him, just, can we not fight like this? Like, can we start over? Is there anything that we can do? Like, this is really messed up, but can we just not do this, please? Can we stop doing this? Just don't leave. It's my birthday. Let's just call it couch. Let's call it truce and not have it end like this. I don't want to have it end like this. I was just so tired.
Couch.
Hurt. And I remember crying and feeling ridiculous that after this I would be crying and saying these things. I'm embarrassed saying it now. He responded cruelly. He told me it's what I fucking deserve, and that I'd wake up alone, and that no one would ever love me because all of this, pointing to my face or body, all of this was going to go away. No one would ever love me. My tits sag, no one would ever love me, and I better get used to waking up alone. And he said this was all my fault and what I asked for. And he left. I heard him come back in the downstairs. You can hear the door slam. I remember hearing it open and thinking, oh God, is this going to happen again? What's going on now? And then shortly after, I kind of peeked around to the top of the stairs where you can kind of peer into the lower level. And I just see him briefly, momentarily, and he just screams at me, "Happy fucking birthday," and stormed out. At some point, I walked downstairs and saw that he had also left me a note to that effect.
How did he leave a note for you?
I was written on a piece of paper as best I can recall, but I'm not sure.
And so then the
I
next
shall
day,
return?
What did you do?
Maybe.
I texted, actually, I can't say what I texted. I woke up that morning, the morning of my 30th birthday, and I woke up to my best friend crawling in bed with me and putting her arms around me. And I remember wondering how she walked in, because there was a lot of glass on the floor. There's lots of glass. And she put her arms around me and showed me a birthday video that all of my friends, my childhood friends, all of my loved ones made. Of course, stupidly, the first thing I asked her is why Johnny wasn't in the video, because it had been recorded before. It had been recorded sometime before it was clear. And she said that she'd been asking for a few months, and Johnny.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
For to prove the truth.
All right, I'll overrule. Go ahead.
And so we eventually got out of my bed and grabbed a few things and got the dogs, left for our plans, which our plans had been to go to Coachella, which is a music festival that happens in California. And that had been the plan for a while, that's how we would go and celebrate my birthday. And I remember, as I am accustomed to doing, just trying to move on, and remember in vain trying to put on a brave face and have a good time. even though it was impossible.
Let me stop you for a few things. What, if any, plans were there for Mr. Depp to join you at Coachella?
He was supposed to drive down, have dinner, stay in the room, maybe do some writing or something like that in the room.
At Coachella?
At Coachella, where we were. Coachella happens in a different part of California than we lived in. We lived in Los Angeles, and this happens about 2 to 3 hours away. So I finally got in my car back, and I drove with my best friends in the car.
And I'm going to stop you again because I just have a couple more questions before we go into that part. You said you brought the dogs. Who were the dogs you brought?
Johnny's dog at the time, Boo. My dog, Pistol. We shared them.
We're
They're
walking
teacup
into
Yorkies, and I believe Raquel, my best friend's dog, which is a mutt.
walking into poop
What,
gate.
if any, issues did Boo have with bathroom problems?
Oh
if you
dear
will?
God!
Objection, leading and relevance.
Come on!
Overruled on that.
We're gonna talk about his bowel movements now. Come on, man.
She had eaten
Stop the
Johnny's
cap.
weed when she was a puppy
Oh,
and
shut
had
up.
bowel control issues for her entire life, among some other issues. She was, we regularly had to take her to the vet to try to figure out, well, what was wrong with this dog. Never met a dog that was quite like this.
Here
So
comes the poop
she
gate.
had some control issues, hence why we would.
So
She liked to
stupid.
burrow in the bed. She liked to be in the, by the foot of the bed underneath the covers. And it was customary that they slept in bed with us. But Boo, having the issues she had, we have to leave her in bed so that she wouldn't be encouraged to go to the bathroom.
So it's all Boo's fault.
Which would happen almost immediately once you put her down on the floor. And sometimes it happened in bed too. But yeah.
So
Oh, God.
what, if anything, did you notice about any bathroom issues in your bed before you left for Coachella?
Well, Raquel and I were both in that bed with the dogs, and I didn't notice anything, but we left them in the bed while we packed a bag to go to Coachella, so that Boo particularly didn't lose control of her didn't go to the bathroom on the floor. So you leave them in bed until you're ready to take them outside to the patio, which is their designated bathroom
You leave
break
them in
area.
the bed? Excuse me?
And what, if
Before
any,
they go take a
plans
shit?
were there?
I'm
How
sorry.
often did you have housekeeping at that time at your house?
It is too early in the morning.
Housekeepers were there every morning. Or they came every day, as far as I know.
Oh my God.
Now, we'll get you to Coachella, but why did you tell Starling Jenkins that you had been involved in a prank gone wrong?
Objection,
stop.
hearsay, leading.
Stop.
I said why, Your Honor. I didn't say what she said.
I'll sustain the objection.
Yes.
Um,
Oh,
Did
stop.
you commit any kind of prank?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Wait a second.
And why
Okay.
would that not be something you would do?
First of all, I don't think that's funny. I don't know what
I'm
grown
waiting,
woman does. I
I'm waiting for Jonathan.
was not also in a pranking
Start
mood.
losing his
My
ish
life
right
was
now.
falling apart. I was at a crossroads in my life that was really serious, and I had just been attacked on my 30th birthday by my violent husband with whom I was desperately in love and knew I needed to leave.
Mm,
It was not really a jovial time,
mm,
and I don't think that's funny, period.
Mm.
That's disgusting.
And
mm.
what, if any,
Okay.
understanding did you have of Mr. Depp coming back to your bedroom that night or the next morning?
Objection calls for speculation.
I'm asking what her understanding was.
No, I'll sustain the objection.
Hamburger. Come on.
Had
man.
you had any conversations with Mr. Depp about him coming back to the house the next day?
No, Johnny didn't come back to that house. That was my, he owned it, but that was my house when we were having any sort of problem. In fact, that was my house just 90% of the time because he just didn't come back. That
kept
was
hitting
not
him.
a place that Johnny was going to be in, that Johnny was in, and he had stormed out on my birthday. And as per what we did, it was he would go and stay at his West Hollywood home, and I would stay at the downtown places. he wasn't going to come back to the Eastern
Objection calls for
Columbia.
speculation.
I think she explained her answer on that
Okay,
one, and what she
I'll sustain
thought.
just the last part. Okay,
Okay,
next
thank
question.
you. All right, so let's take you to Coachella. Who drove?
I drove.
Okay, and who was in your vehicle?
My sister, my friend Savannah, I believe, my best friend Raquel, just my girlfriends. I typically surround myself with my girlfriends. It's my sport.
Was there any occasion in which you were riding in the vehicle that Starling Jenkins was driving?
He picked us up from Coachella in the evening when we, as a group, all were ready to leave. That was the day that we went, which was the day that I took MDMA and mushrooms at the same time. Realized very shortly after what a horrible idea that was, considering the state that my life was in. I highly don't recommend that combination at the time. So I didn't feel like being in a crowd.
Just in that
I
moment.
didn't feel like being at Coachella. I
But
had
in
intended
Australia,
to try to have a good time despite
It's okay.
what was going on in my personal life. And I realized that was just not going to happen. And so I wanted to go home. Meaning to be in a bed. I wanted to be, I just wanted to be held by my best friend and watch a movie. And that's what we did. I didn't feel well and wanted to leave.
And when you said you rode back with Starling Jenkins, was it just you, or did you have other people in the vehicle with you?
And when we left Coachella, it was my entire group. I wasn't ever alone with Starling.
I
I
just
certainly
can't
wasn't
I
anywhere
can't-
near him. I didn't have a conversation with him. I sat in the very back seat with my best friend next to me, and it was a whole group of us.
Thank you. Your Honor, I don't know,
Okay.
this might be a good breaking.
All right, that's fine. Okay, ladies, let's go ahead and take our morning recess. Do not discuss the case with anybody and don't do any outside research. We'll take 15 minutes, okay? All right, we'll just come back then at 10:50. Is that okay? All right, 10:50.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay. I'm waiting because, lately whenever she gets down from the stands, some BS happens every single time. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just wait a second before I, minimize the window and blow myself up here. I just want to see if she gonna be acting a damn fool. And it looks like they're being normal. It looks like it. Looks like she's gonna be normal. Okay, guys. So we have 15 minutes to kill. And as you can see, Poopgate. Did a little dog named Boo go boo-boo in the bed? Human size boo-boo. Or no? That is the ongoing question here. Everyone, what in the hell was that? They went straight into, now a lot was being said and I'm still trying to process it, but did she explain, did she say the reason why the dog took a boo-boo, why Boo took a boo-boo in their marital bed is because of, I guess he has a canine version of IBS? Because I'm sorry, like I'm going, wait a second, how did that, I need to find that part because I need to relive that moment again. Because Poopgate, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm trying to be a good guy here. Okay. Trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. But Boo went boo-boo in the bed. Allegedly. This is what she's saying. Didn't she say something like, maybe like I said, I'm gonna roll it back. But did she say something along the lines of he ate something? Like a pot brownie or something? Did he? I'm sorry. I'm trying to make I'm trying to make sense of this whole thing. He took something, right? He ate like weed or something. He consumed weed and then suddenly he can't poop right anymore. I'm sorry. I'm gonna roll that back. I'm sorry. Oh my God. It's so good. It's so good. You can't make this up. Hold on. I want to make sure he ate bag of what? I want to make sure. This is so, I thought, okay. I thought my mind was playing tricks on me. Hold on. I'm about to start crying. I'm laughing so damn hard. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. It is too early in the morning. It is too early in the morning, y'all. Oh my God. Oh my God. He ate a bag of weed. Oh my God. Oh. Okay, I'm done. I'm rolling it back. I need to hear from the horse's mouth. I don't believe any of y'all. Y'all straight lie. I was like, wait a second. Did she just say he ate a bag of weed? This is not Cheech and Chong, man. This is not Cheech and Chong. Oh my God. Okay. I'm rolling it back just a little bit. We got to relive that moment. Oh, a bag of weed. Apparently, if you eat a bag of weed, it gives you canine IBS. But let's go. I need to hear this.
Let's
Oh,
just call it couch.
oh my
Let's call it
God.
truce and not
I'm
have it
rolling it
invert
back.
this
I am
as
so sorry.
nut.
Okay. What, if any, issues did Boo have with bathroom problems?
Oh my
if you will?
God, this is
Objection,
amazing.
leading and relevance.
Overruled all that.
She had eaten Johnny's weed when she was a puppy.
Okay, stop. Oh my God, this is giving me life. Thank you, Amber. Thank you for today of all days. Thank you. This is so bad. I'm rolling this up. I'm rolling this back one more time for the nosebleed seats, and we're gonna put it in big, make it bigger so you all can see this. Oh my God, you can land a plane on what she just said. Let me just. Oh my God. She blames it on the dog. And then she explains the reason why the dog took a dump on the bed is because when he was a puppy, Boo ate a bag of Johnny's weed, which caused Boo to have basically irritable bowel syndrome, where he just can't hold his bowels. Just thank you, Amber. Thank you.
Again, because I just have a couple more questions before we go into that part. You said you brought the dogs. Who were the dogs you brought?
Johnny's dog at the time, Boo. My dog, Pistol. We shared them. They're teacup Yorkies, and I believe Raquel, my best friend's dog, which is a mutt.
Okay. What, if any, issues did Boo have with
Oh God,
bathroom problems?
this
if
is
you will?
amazing.
Objection, leading and relevance.
Overruled all that.
Oh my God, this is amazing.
She had eaten.
I'm sorry. I gotta pause it. I'm gonna roll it back. It's a she, by the way. Sorry. Why is everything going? Why did everything bad happen to Boo? Why Boo of all dogs? That same dog, Boo, was given to her dad, and her dad ran his own dog fighting ring. Real talk. So like Boo got the short end of the stick. Real talk. Okay. And I mean, he must have had one hell of a trip after eating that whole bag of wheat. Literally, he can't control his bowels because he ate a bag of weed. This is what she's claiming right now. She is straight up using that as an excuse and trying to make it seem viable. Like, I'm surprised Johnny didn't lose his mind here. Being like, you telling me you're using all of this? You got your lawyer talking about these 2 damn dogs because of Poopgate, when you know for a fact, without a shadow of a doubt, it was you that was crouching over the bed going, trying to squeeze one out? And you're saying it's because of a dog that ate a bag of weed when it was a puppy? That's why it's shitting and pissing everywhere? Man, it is too early in the morning right now. Too early in the morning. Do not blame these dogs. They are innocent. They are just animals, man. Can we just take a moment of silence for Boo real quick? I'm sorry. Wherever you are, Boo. Hopefully there's a gigantic bed and a big bag of weed right next to you. R.I.P. Let's get back to this. I need to hear this one more time for all y'all, because this is amazing.
Johnny's weed when she was a puppy and had bowel control issues for her entire life, among some other issues. She was, we regularly had to take her to the vet to try to figure out, well, what was wrong with this dog? Never met a dog that was quite like this. So she had some control issues, hence why she liked to burrow in the bed. She liked to be in the, by the foot of the bed underneath the covers. And it was customary that they slept in bed with us, but Boo, having the issues she had, we have to leave her in bed so that she wouldn't be encouraged to go to the bathroom, which would happen almost immediately once you put her down on the floor.
Okay. Let me just, can I just say something, y'all? Okay, we got a little bit of time. We got a tiny bit of time. Yeah, just a little bit of time. First off, some of y'all nasty, okay? Some of y'all nasty. Clearly they're saying that they nasty because you're willing to have a dog because you're telling me the dog only wants to poop and pee when its paws hits the ground. But when it's in a bed, it doesn't want to lose itself. You know what I'm saying? It don't want to M&M. Doesn't want to lose itself. That doesn't make any sense to me. So you're telling me that the dog will pee and poop in the bed, not a human-sized poop, okay? But will still lose itself inside the bed too because it got canine IBS. So you're telling me that you two movie stars, multi-million-dollar movie stars, are lying and sleeping in your dog's boo-boo and pee-pee. Think about it for a second, y'all. Let's talk about this logistically. Let's break it down here, okay? For everyone. That means that dog has no control, period. So it's going to go and just lift its leg or squat and just let it go. And you're telling me in the middle of the night while you guys are sleeping, you're sleeping with those dogs in thy bed. By the way, that's nasty too. I'm sorry. No offense to anybody that sleeps with their dogs, but make sure your dogs are clean before you bring them into your bed because they go outside. They bring everything inside. I'm sorry. I'm black. That's just how I think. Dogs need to stay on the floor. That's just me. Okay. But at the same time, you got the same dogs going in the bed and you sleeping in that. And then you wake up like, why is everything wet? And everything's bright yellow. Oh my God, boo-boo. And now you've been lying and marinating in they funk. Do you understand? Multi-million-dollar actors that have more money than God are laying in beds covered in poop and pee from their canines. I'm sorry. It's disgusting. Okay, especially when you got a dog with canine IBS. He can't control it, so he gonna go everywhere. He ain't gonna take human-sized dookies, though. Let's keep it straight funky. They're gonna be little pellets, okay? Little pellets. We've talked about it before. If Boo or Pistol took a human-sized dump in the bed, that human-sized dump, they would have split in half. That whole dog would have been like that. Period. Okay? So if you got, I'm just going to say this one thing. If you got a dog that has canine IBS because it ate a bag of weed. Okay, so it's all jacked up. He's permanently high. Okay, so you know that the dog's not going to lose, like it's going to relieve himself anywhere it goes. Would you sleep with that dog? I'm just saying. I'm sorry. Think about it. But the fact, okay, so outside of that, I'm sorry. I'm going to roll it back one more time because it's just so good. You can't write this. I really hope they make a movie out of this. Oh my God. Whoo, this is so good. Anyway, I'm going to roll that back, but I'm telling you, no person in their right mind is going to let their dog just chill in the bed if you know that if the dog has no control over its bowels. I'm sorry, even myself. I don't care if I love that dog more than anything in the world. I don't care if that dog saved my life or jumped in front of a speeding bullet to block the bullet from killing me. And then I'm sitting there going, "You my savior, baby." No, you still sleeping in your little doggy bed, and I'm gonna sleep in my human bed. That's it. If I know you going everywhere, I'm sorry. You're not gonna be in my bed. Period. Sorry, period. Okay? That be nasty. But that shows that they nasty. I'm sorry. That shows that even though I love Johnny, you know what I'm saying? This shows that they nasty as hell. All right? I'm going to roll that back a little bit. But she blaming weed, a bag of weed, and she even blaming Boo. She hated that dog so much that she put it all on Boo. Do you see what I'm saying? Same dog that she took from Johnny in their divorce settlement that was originally his mother's dog. She passed. He, got custody over the dog or ownership over the dog. Even in the divorce, she took over Boo. But she hated Boo so much that she is putting it all on Boo because that poor kid, that poor dog, okay, ate a bag of weed when it was a puppy. At least that's what she's claiming. And now he got canine IBS. You know what? IBS is no joke, all right? Even with dogs. But then you put all that blame on him. And then after that, you take full custody over the dog and rip it from his hands, and that's obviously a representation and an emotional what's the word? An emotional piece for her that's connecting him to his mother. Rip that dog from his hands, and then what do? You give the dog to your dad, who runs a mother-loving dog fighting ring. So where Boo at then? I'll tell you what, he ain't here no more. I will tell you that. That's my theory. Boo ain't here no more. Okay? But you're putting all the blame on the damn dog. That's just idiotic. Okay? Idiotic.
She would be encouraged to go to the bathroom, which would happen almost immediately once you put her down on the floor. And sometimes it happened in bed too. But
sometimes. See, nasty. Them nasty. And they were just lying around in them, just marinating, rolling around in that funk that the dog would leave behind. But that's okay. I don't understand why some dog I got 4 dogs, okay? I got 4 of them, okay? Nah. And I love my dogs. I would live for my dogs. I would die for my dogs. But at the same time, not in my bed. That be nasty, especially if you got canine IBS. Come on, baby. Come on, man. You sleeping in that ish. Captain Jack Sparrow's rolling around in piss and shit. Dog piss and shit. Sorry, I'm done now. Let's hear these lies.
But yeah.
So what, if anything, did you notice about any bathroom issues in your bed before you left for Coachella?
Well, Raquel and I were both in that bed with the dogs, and I didn't notice anything, but we left them in the bed while we packed a bag to go to Coachella, so that they didn't, so that Boo particularly didn't lose control of her or, didn't go to the bathroom on the floor. So you leave him in bed until you're ready to take him outside to the patio, which is their designated bathroom break area.
Okay. Let's break this down. Okay. You have a dog that has canine IBS because it ate a bag of weed. So it has IBS. So you know that this dog is just going to go everywhere. Doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter where he goes or where she is. Every spot is a toilet in her mind. Okay? Because she got canine IBS. So as you're packing, getting ready for one of the best weekends of your life, I'm sure, to blow off some steam and do some drugs and say, fuck them, girl, fuck them, right? In Coachella, while you're packing, the dogs are on the bed. You know that you got a dog that has canine IBS. You know that she's leaving treats and little gifts on the side everywhere, little pee marks, everything. Why wouldn't you check the bed when you were done packing? You didn't even want to go and check the bed to make sure she didn't leave anything behind if she was really going and dropping a deuce in the bed, because you know for a fact she would do something like that because she got canine IBS. Come on, man. No. You know what happened? You packed up. You were angry. You were probably doing a little something. Maybe you were already on a few tablets, a few pills, drinking a little bit, kicking it. You know what happened? Boo was on that bed. But Boo was just watching. You wanted an audience. So Boo and Pistol were sitting there just going, what is she doing? What is she? Oh my God. Oh, she's doing with it like we do. Yay. As you are crouching down and relieving thyself. Just saying, how dare you put all this on a dog? Have mercy. You put this all on a dog. Welcome to the crazy roller coaster ride, which is this trial. You can't even write this stuff, y'all. You can't even write this stuff. Canine IBS. Somebody hashtag that for me. Canine IBS. And if all else fails, just blame it on the dog. Blame it on the dog. It will totally make sense. But then, add a backstory. Add a little bit of Cheech and Chong backstory in there. Oh, he just ate a bag of weed. That's why he ain't pooping and pissing right. You know what I'm saying? That's why he can't be trained. Yeah. This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay? Oh my God. I'm sorry. I got some super chats. Berenice, thank you so much for $5. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. How should she keep a straight face saying that? That's what I'd like to know too. Says this. Jamarcus, what's up, man? Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. No, Pascal, she canned them. She can let them on the bed. When she puts them on the floor, then Bows just let loose on the floor. Yes, but that one day Bows let loose on the bed, they couldn't smell that. Absolutely. You wouldn't go and check all this stuff before you left? I'm just saying. Got one more super chat here. Latif, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. This is a pound of BS. Absolutely. All dogs will find the darkest caves of their home to poop in. Yep. Dogs don't ish where they sleep. If they don't want to get down off the bed, that is a possibility. They don't want you to find it. Yep. Because they know they'll get in trouble. Then they'll get in trouble. Man, I hope it gets even more comical. Like, please tell us that, Pistol dropped some acid and, in Australia and was the one flinging the wine bottles, okay? The vodka bottle which severed John's hand. Please, just say some more crazy stuff, okay? That's just ridiculous. Oh my God. A bag of weed. A bag of weed. K9. IBS. Thank you, Amber. Thank you so much. I got 4 dogs, guys. 4 beautiful dogs. I love them to death. They drive me crazy. But there ain't no way on God's green earth that I would ever let all 4 dogs go and sleep in my damn bed. They are going to pee. They are going to poop. They're going to do all kinds of crazy,
What, if
nasty
any,
stuff.
contact did you
That's
have
it.
with Mr. Depp during the period from April 21 to May 21, 2016?
I had no physical contact with him.
Okay. I'm going to
Hit
take
that
you
like button,
to
y'all.
May 2nd, 2016, the Met Gala.
Don't forget to
Can
hit
you
that subscribe
please
button
just
too.
briefly describe to the jury what a Met Gala is, where it is, and what's involved?
It's arguably the biggest fashion kind of celebrity event, red carpet event of the year. It happens every year in New York City.
Facts.
And were you invited?
Facts, Gretchen.
I was invited. Typically, designers will invite people in the public eye to be their, guests, and they will typically dress them, and it's a way for designers or fashion to kind of intersect with a celebrity world, and it's a big event held at the museum every year.
And what, if anything, did you and Mr. Depp do to prepare for that Met Gala?
Well, Johnny and I we were dressed by Ralph Lauren, guests of Ralph Lauren, and Johnny missed the fitting because it was happening around the date of my birthday party in Los Angeles. But we were planning on going together as Ralph Lauren's guests.
And did you show up?
I did. I didn't have a phone at the time because I couldn't get it reinstated after Johnny threw it out of the window because no one on his team would respond to me. So I had no way to kind of reinstall it. I had, it's no point in getting a burner phone if you don't know anyone's phone number. So I wasn't sure really what was going on or when he would show up or if he would show up. No one would talk to me on his team. No one would tell me. I didn't know. So I ended up going by myself. Frankly, I wasn't sure if he'd show up and, on the carpet or if he'd show up at the hotel shortly before. I had no way of knowing.
And then did you attend the Met Gala?
I did. I got out of the car and walked the red carpet by myself, escorted by somebody from Ralph Lauren's team. And I sat next to an empty place setting for Johnny.
That's what I'd like to know.
That they cleared as soon as we realized that that he effectively stood me up on the carpet.
Who did you meet at the Met Gala?
I was standing in line right in front of a gentleman. It was Elon.
Here we
I
go.
didn't recognize him until we started talking. And he had reminded me that we had met once before. He was with his mother.
And did you strike up a friendship with Mr. Musk after that?
We did. We, as I mentioned, we spoke on the red carpet, kind of in the waiting line of the carpet. He seemed like a real gentleman. He was really nice, and he sat next to me. Well, not next to me. He sat kind of in a nearby table, and we got to speaking that night, and then eventually became friends.
Okay. I'm going to, Michelle, can you pull up Plaintiff's Exhibit 46? It's already in evidence. It's Aaron Filati's notes. And I'm going to ask you to go to page 30. And I'm going to direct your attention to the entry for 5/11/2016, where it says, if I can see, here we go. Let me see if I can do some reasonable highlighting here. Okay, it says client laughed and also reported using illicit drugs, mushrooms and MDMA on 5/9/2016 at home with a high-profile male acquaintance. Client reported that her husband was not aware of the male visitor nor her illicit drug use. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
Who was the high-profile male acquaintance that visited your home on 5/9/2016?
I don't recall even being in LA at that time.
Where were you?
I don't recall. I believe I was in London at the time.
Okay. Did you have a male high-profile client at your home in or around 5/9/2016?
Not around that date. It seems like it's a wrong date.
Okay. And did you use illicit drugs, mushrooms, and MDMA with any high-profile client?
No, I did that at the Coachella Music Festival, and that was the end of that. I learned the hard way that that was a terrible idea.
All right. Well, while we are on
She's lying, man.
these same notes, I'm going to refer to the Coachella, which is up above. And it says, it states she ingested mushrooms and MDMA simultaneously while also consuming alcohol, and states she vomited and was high for at least 24 hours straight. Were you high for at least 24 hours straight?
No, I was not. I felt awful, but I was at home feeling awful. At home, meaning at the hotel, with my best friend in bed.
Okay. Well, while I'm still on these notes, let's go. I know while Aaron Filati was testifying, we recall the 5/21/2016 isn't on here. You'd sent her pictures, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
I did.
Then let's go to 5/26/2016. And it says, client reports having the hardest week of my life. Client states she cannot deal with the negative media publicity she has received. And then if we can jump that up, Michelle, to the next page, surrounding the divorce she requested from her husband, JD. Do you see that?
I do.
Okay. When did you go in for the DVTRO?
May 27th.
So that was the day after Aaron Filati's note saying you just had the toughest week of your life?
That's correct.
Okay. While we are still on this one, let's go up to the first page for the client history. When did you provide a client history to Aaron Filati?
Never.
When did you first get assigned Aaron Filati?
I believe September of 2014.
Okay. Now it says here that client reports a history of substance abuse, including an addiction to cocaine and liquor. When did you have a history of substance
Oh, dear
abuse,
God.
including addiction to cocaine and liquor?
Here comes all the lies.
I did not. There's a lot of mistakes in here.
Did you ever use cocaine?
I have. I used cocaine a few times when I was 18, 19 years old, but stopped using any drugs, including cocaine, when I got into a relationship with my ex-partner. She was very against that, and I'm glad for it.
Okay.
That's a
Then it
lie.
also says here that where am I? Move up a little. Here we go. Client admits to history of anxiety, eating disorder, attention deficit disorder, bipolar disorder, codependence issues, and occasional insomnia. When have you had an eating disorder?
I've never had an eating disorder.
Oh, so you're RN.
When have you been
come
diagnosed
on.
with bipolar disorder?
I've never been diagnosed with bipolar disorder.
When have you been diagnosed with
Lying.
codependence issues?
I have never been diagnosed with codependency issues, although arguably at the time, from where I stand now, I can see that the relationship I was in with Johnny was certainly codependent.
Okay.
But I wouldn't have reported that at the time. I didn't know about that.
All right. And then can we move up a little bit more, Michelle?
Why would her RN,
you.
who's been working for her
It
for
has
years,
per
lie?
report from JD, Debbie
Have mercy.
RN, Dr. Kipper, client AH has reportedly been experiencing increased anxiety and agitation recently and has had several outbursts of anger and rage. Were you present for this being reported to Ms. Filati?
No, this is the detox.
Okay.
This is Johnny's.
And it also says your mood has been labile. What, if any, outbursts of anger and rage and labile mood did you exhibit during the detox?
None that she would have seen. None. I was there for Johnny's detox. This is what Johnny was going through. This is not me.
Okay. And at the time of the detox, was Erin Filati your nurse yet?
No, I didn't know her and she wasn't there.
Okay. Thank you very much. You can take this down, Michelle.
Jesus.
Now, I'm going to take you to May 21, 2016, and I'd like you to describe for the jury what took place that evening in connection with Mr. Depp.
Johnny and I had not seen each other for the better part of a month, or about a month. I was traveling. I had just shot a campaign in Italy. I spoke to him around that time when I was in Italy. I had gotten a phone. My parents got a hold of me. After I spoke to my parents, I had communicated with Johnny. He, on that phone call, I didn't know what was going on with him for those weeks. With his sobriety, I didn't know where his state was. I didn't know what state he was in. And when I spoke to him, he was saying what I can only just, he was going on about scientists and DNA and feces, that he had some scientific analysis done and DNA analysis done, and that as soon as I heard about this feces, he thought that was a prank, and he was going on about all the scientists that he had conferred about the DNA results with. I just thought he was out of his mind and thought clearly the drinking and the drugs are not getting better. Clearly the delusions aren't better. So
Objection calls for speculation.
My Lord.
It's not about the truth of the matter. We're talking about what her,
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
please continue.
So I hung up from that phone call, assuming that, and then spoke to him once my parents got a hold of me to tell me about Betty Sue. We made a plan, Johnny and I, for him to come over. He said he really needed his wife. He had lost his mother and he missed his wife. He really needed his wife. He said it over and over again. I felt torn. I felt conflicted. I didn't think, obviously, the situation hadn't gotten better with Johnny mentally, and I was afraid that all the work and progress and distance I had finally got on the relationship for the first time. I had a month of distance on it, I didn't want that to be undone, but I also wanted to be, I was affected by the fact that his mother had passed. So he said he wanted to come over and talk about that, and he said he needed his wife, and we made a plan. We made a plan for him to come over during the day, thinking that might mitigate the amount that he would be drinking. Night is a little bit more dangerous. And in the early evening hours, I get a text from him that he's almost there, or that he's there. I think it was around 7:15 or so. And he came over, and we sat on the couch, and at first it was relatively peaceful. I mean, I could tell he was inebriated, but makes sense. In my head, it made sense. He wasn't like incoherent. It was peaceful. And then he starts talking about the feces again, and this prank that he said one of my friends had left for him in my bed that he wasn't going to be at. And I tried to point out how that didn't make any sense. I'm not even going to be there. I wasn't there. And my friends wouldn't do that. That's not something a bunch of 30-year-old women think is funny. What is he talking about? And he just kept going on and on about it. So I text my friend that it's
Objection, hearsay.
Don't tell the jury what you texted your friend, but go to the next thing. What did you do next?
I called my friend thinking that it would quell this, what I could only see as a delusion. I thought it was just a delusion he was having. And I thought, oh, I'll hopefully, quell this by calling my friend to if he hears my friend say that didn't happen.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
It's not offered to prove the truth of it. Thank you. Please continue.
So I thought if I could get my friend on the phone to prove that this didn't happen, we could move on and talk about the issues that we should be talking about. We had, our marriage was over and falling apart in front of our eyes. We hadn't seen each other for a month, and his mom had just passed. I couldn't believe he wanted to talk about feces. So I call this friend thinking that will take care of it. The friend doesn't answer. I call another friend who is someone else he claimed. I don't know how both people did this, but he was claiming that this person was responsible. So I called that person. And that person is on speakerphone. And I
Tell
say,
us who that person is.
Io.
Io, tell it right?
Io, tell it right.
Okay. And then you put him on speakerphone with Johnny.
Right in front of Johnny.
Okay. And what happened next?
I allowed for an opportunity for Io to say why this is impossible.
Objection,
It's
hearsay.
not offered to prove the truth of the matter, is asserted, Your Honor. It's explaining the context that leads to the next acts.
Your Honor, it is being offered
We're
to
not
prove.
here. We're not here about whether Io.
I'll sustain
on
the
the back.
objection. Next question.
All right. All right. So Io is talking. You can't tell us what he said. Okay.
Objection,
He's
Your
talking,
Honor.
correct?
May we approach?
Okay.
Yeah, this is. I mean, oh my God, y'all. Do you see all the lies? Are you witnessing all the tidal wave? I mean, the tsunami of lies that are coming out of this. This is insane. She's not taking any accountability for anything.
Io is talking. We can't say what he said.
This is
What
terrible.
is the next thing that happens on your end with Mr. Depp?
It just made Johnny madder. He got more upset, grabbed the phone, and started screaming at Io. He just started screaming at the top of his lungs, said, "You dyke bitch, you don't know what you're talking," just screaming expletives, insulting names, and telling Io that he can have me and, fuck off, and just screaming at him. That's best I can describe it without getting into the details. He tosses the phone, down on the couch and heads upstairs. I pick up the phone and try to, apologize for the fact that my husband at the time just screamed at my friend on a cold call. I didn't want Io to think that's why I had called Io, to just be screamed at and blamed for something that sounded crazy, for lack of a better explanation. It sounded crazy. Io said something to me on speakerphone, and reminded me I wasn't safe.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
Your Honor, it's not offered to prove the truth of the matter. It's to show what caused Mr. Depp to be set off and come back. I mean, it's not offered to prove the truth of what he's saying. It's not hearsay.
I'll overrule the objection. Go ahead.
Thank you. Please tell us what Io said and what then happened with Mr. Depp.
Io said, "Amber, get out of the house. Get out of the house now. You're not safe. Get out of that house." Io had been there after the cleanup or for the cleanup after December 15th, 2015 incident. And had
Objection,
washed
Your Honor,
blood out of my
non-responsive.
pillowcases.
All right.
I think she can provide the
I'll
context.
sustain the objection. Next question.
Okay, so please continue.
Johnny hears this when he's on the stairs. He made it up one flight of stairs, heard this, turned around, came bolting down the stairs, grabbed the phone from my hand, and really started screaming this time, lit into IO, called IO every imaginable horrible name that you can say to a LGBTQIA person, for one, and any person, any human being ever. I mean, just screamed at IO some really nasty stuff. And when he was done, he says, you know, you want to have my woman now. You want to have my bitch. You can have, you take her, you can have her. And he, with that, picks up, just pulls his arm back with the phone and throws it at my face. Hit me right in it felt like my eye.
It felt like her eye. But was it her eye?
I put my head in my hands.
My God.
And immediately start crying. I said, you hit me with the phone. Johnny, you hit me. And I'm sitting on the couch. I didn't even have time to
Who is IO,
react.
by the way?
I didn't even have time to put my hands up. I was still
And where are they?
sitting cross-legged in my socks on the couch. And I haven't seen him for a month. And several times now that I've seen him, he's hit me. And I didn't even have time to react to this. He comes over to me as I'm crying. And he does that taunting thing to me. He says, oh yeah, I hit you, huh? I hit you, yeah? And he just feels like whacks me on top of my head. Just this heavy ringed hand landed on top of my skull, grabs me by the hair, yanks me up off the couch. I'm struggling to stand up. And I don't know if he was intending to
Thank you,
hit me
Susan.
in the face or if he was just trying to grab my face, but he was making this gesture around my face to try to expose my face to him. And he was like, yeah, let me see how bad I hurt you. Let me see it. Let me see how bad I hurt you this time. What if I pull your hair back? What if I pull your hair back? And he yanks my hair back. I'm trying to prevent him from landing the blows to my face. I'm trying to prevent my face from being exposed. And I just remember this mocking taunt he was doing with me as he is yanking me around the room. And then I hear my friend come into the room. I hear her. Johnny hears her too. He lets go of me and turns. And
Just tell the jury who your friend is.
Raquel, my best friend at the time, who lived in the neighboring apartment.
Are they coming in? Are they going to be witnesses?
Came in, and Johnny moved towards her, and she ran towards me. Johnny looked at her, looked at me. I retreated to the only place I had to go, which is the corner room, where the couch was. I retreated kind of to the couch, and Raquel and Johnny both ran up to me. Raquel got in front of Johnny. She kind of managed to get right in front of him, in between he and I. And I'll never forget it, just very slowly, calm, in just a very slow, but very concentrated, very controlled, slow way, just put both of her arms, her hands up like this. And like I've seen people do with horses, that's what it reminded me of. She just went, no, Johnny, no. And she just got in front of us, in between us, put both of her palms out. Johnny kind of squared off to her, ran into her arms, and she just repeated herself very slowly, very calmly, very directly. He hit both of her arms off of his chest like that and barreled towards me. I instinctively curl up on the couch, and I just feel her arms come around me, next to me. She was sitting on my left, next to me on the couch, and I just feel her arms around me. And I'm just looking down at the carpet, feeling her arms. And that's when Johnny, who I can see partially and hear, is right in front of me, and he's screaming at me to get the fuck up. Amber, get the fuck up. Amber, get the fuck up. Amber, get the fuck up. And every single time he said it, he's screaming it louder and louder and louder. I think he screamed it probably about 10 times, so loudly. The next thing I hear is, boss, boss. And I realize that his 2 security guards had come into the apartment after Raquel. I see them and hear them, and Johnny turns to them, and I see Jerry say, boss, boss. And I get up off the couch and I say to Jerry,
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
Not offered to prove the truth of the matter asserted at all.
I'll sustain the objection.
All right.
Next one.
So don't tell us what you said to Jerry, just what happened next.
then they tell him something. And he picks up the bottle that I guess he walked in with. It was a
This is
Magnum.
Mr. Depp or Jerry?
I'm sorry, Johnny.
Okay.
And starts smashing things off the nightstand, the coffee table, starts screaming. And they kind of, I feel them kind of corral him. I'm not making direct eye contact, but I can kind of just sense and feel and sound and hear things
Kelly.
smashing as he exits the apartment, kind of knocking things off the countertops and breaking things on the way. I realize he's punching something. I assume it was the picture because it broke right after he walked past it. And he leaves that apartment. I hear him in the hallway, still screaming. I hear more doors opening, more racket. Eventually, Josh, Raquel's husband, comes into the room and brings me to safety, brings Raquel and I to safety in their apartment. And that's where I stayed for the next few hours.
So who called the police?
I believe it was
Objection calls for
Io.
speculation.
Your Honor, this is not, we have to have the context here of somebody called the police, because then the police come. So I think we have to put, it's not offered again to prove the truth of the matter asserted. It's just who called the police.
Your Honor, the objection is not hearsay. It's speculation.
Do you know who called the police?
Yes, I do now.
I'll
Okay.
sustain the objection.
All
Next
right.
question.
Did you have were you present when there was a discussion about calling 911?
Objection calls for hearsay.
I'm asking if she was
I'll
present.
sustain the objection. Next question.
Did you call 911?
No.
Okay. Did Rocky call 911?
Objection calls for speculation.
Do you know whether Rocky called 911?
I do know whether she did.
And did
She did not.
Okay. All right. So what happens, when did you learn that the police had been called?
Roughly an hour, at some point shortly after Johnny and his security guards left.
And what did you do as a result of knowing that the police were coming?
I felt panicked. I didn't know what to do because I didn't know what they were going to do when they saw the state of the place. He'd also smashed up the other apartment where I kept all my things. So I didn't know what they were going to do. And I panicked. I called the only lawyer I have, which is my entertainment lawyer. He does like my movie contracts and stuff. And I asked him for advice.
Susan, I'm
And
wondering the
then
same thing. This is getting
what,
difficult.
without telling what he said, what happened next?
I called a domestic relations attorney after that conversation.
And had you known this domestic relations attorney before then?
No, I did not.
Did you get that name from your entertainment attorney?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And when you called the domestic relations attorney, without saying what she said, what did you do as a result?
I told the police officers who arrived that I would not cooperate.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
Again, not offered to prove the truth of the matter asserted.
All right, I'll overrule the objection. Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
I repeated to the officers, I refuse to cooperate at this time at the advice of my attorney.
Okay. Did you call your publicist that night?
No.
Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you to take a look at some pictures, but before I get there, I want to just ask you a couple of questions leading up. What were you doing when the police officers arrived?
At that time, after I learned that they were coming, my best friend took pictures of me. We took pictures of the house and my face.
Okay.
Really? Now,
I'm
where's
going
that?
to, and
You got it?
did your best friend take any pictures while the officers were there?
We took pictures before and while they were there and after.
Okay.
We took pictures throughout.
Okay. So I'm going to take you now, Michelle, can you bring up Defendants Exhibit 706?
So it looks like they have
I
footage.
think we can do the native on this.
Let's
one.
see
Yes,
this
thank you.
footage.
Does this accurately depict the scene portrayed?
Yes, it does.
Your Honor, I'd like to move the admission of Defendant 706.
Are we going to get to see
No
this?
objection.
706 in evidence and published.
And would you please describe to the jury what this is a picture of?
This is my face after Johnny threw a phone at it.
Okay. I'm going to now, Michelle, ask you to pull up Defendants 708. And does this accurately depict the scene portrayed in this picture?
Yes, it does.
All right. And I also see that there is a little,
Where's
what
the
we call
picture?
metadata item on there.
Show the damn picture.
How do you get that on a picture? How does that happen? Can you just describe briefly?
Objection, Your Honor. That's speculation, lack of
If
foundation.
you want to approach.
Yeah.
Where's the? I hate when they do this and then they don't show us the picture. It's like, show us the damn picture. Because it's the only way that we can ever see if any of this stuff that she's saying is true or not. So where's the footage? Where's the footage for the public to see? That other photo, that looks like something for sure, but I don't know if it's, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it would be much worse if that photo was taken right after or something like that. An altercation between him and her. Wouldn't the bruise look much worse than that? Wouldn't that bruise look a little bit more intense? Just out of curiosity. I mean, that's the one thing I'm trying to I had to, I needed to see that for myself a little bit because that's just strange. But anyway, I don't know.
Can you please explain how this particular item on here got onto the pictures?
It's a feature that was on iPhotos, where your pictures are stored on your phone. Typically, you just push info.
And was that pushed in these instances?
I
of
pushed
pictures?
info, and that's what came up.
Okay. Your Honor, I'm going to move the admission of Defendants 708.
Any objection to 708?
Your Honor, I would just ask the picture be redacted on hearsay grounds
Your Honor,
for the metadata,
Okay, if you want
alleged
to approach again.
metadata.
Okay.
So weird. Now, remember, there were cops. Yes, cops were called in. They said that they saw no signs of any type of DV, any type of abuse that was going on. But for some odd reason, she has this photo. If I'm correct, this is the same story. This is the same cops that were brought in and were questioned weeks ago. They basically said, hey, we didn't see any, there was no sign of anything bad. There was no sign of DV or abuse. So this photo, see, this is when it, like, they're saying that she was messing with the metadata and the like when the photo was actually taken, so on and so forth. So I don't even know. That's why I'm saying, like, these photos, I agree,
One moment,
Los
please.
in Casa,
Trying to figure out how to-
these photos
Okay,
need
that's
to
fine.
be more verified. They need to be actually verified. You can't just throw these things up and just say, oh, this is what it is.
All right, I'm going to move
That
the
doesn't make
admission
any
of
sense.
708 with the redaction, Your Honor.
Okay, any objection to that?
There still needs to be another redaction at the top, Your Honor.
Okay.
These photos could have been taken any time. Remember, again, those cops showed up. They
Thank
came to
you.
the stand. They said nothing happened, that they didn't see any signs of any type of abuse or DV. So where did these photos come from?
Okay, 708 with the redactions.
And
Okay.
can they even
Thank
use
you, Your
this
Honor.
in
And I would
trial right
also
now?
like the record to reflect that we're publishing this to the jury.
Yes, no objection, correct?
Okay.
Yes. There we go.
Okay. I would like the record to reflect that this was the photo that was shown to Officer Sines and Officer Haddon. as
Objection, Your
Exhibit
Honor.
20
That is,
Your Honor, we
That is
couldn't put him in
inappropriate, Your
because
Honor.
we hadn't identified him. Now the jury should be entitled to know which photo
Your Honor,
was
we ask
shown.
that we
as that
approach.
Okay, we can approach.
This is getting sticky. This is getting really, really sticky. So you're telling me that these photos right now, hold on. You're telling me that these are the photos right now? That these are it? That this shows without a shadow of a doubt that he was doing these things? But that doesn't make any sense. You have key witnesses that came in, these cops that came in, saying otherwise, saying that there was no sign of anything.
For the record, this particular photo was shown to Officer Sines and Officer Haddon as Exhibit 24 in both of the depositions that were shown earlier, where the pictures were not allowed to be shown yet because they hadn't been admitted. Amber, will you please describe for the jury what is depicted in this photo?
Exactly, Jennifer.
Yes, that's a picture of my face taken that evening, shortly before 9:30, after Johnny hit me with the phone.
Okay. Now we can take this one down and let's go to Defendants Exhibit 709.
Oh, boy. It's all going to come down to
And
what the
based on
jury
court's
believes,
ruling,
unfortunately.
I'm going to ask if you can redact that, Michelle, please.
It all comes down to the jury. When they see these photos, are they going to look at this and go, that's absolutely horrendous? This looks, how dare he do these things? Are they going to believe these photos? But they
Remove
have
the admission of 709.
All right, any objection?
Not with
None of this-
redactions.
All right,
Thank you.
709 with redactions.
none of this has been verified, though. So they're just
published
giving
to the
them
jury.
random
Thank you.
footage.
And Your Honor, for the record, this is the photo that was shown to Officer Sines and to Officer Haddon as Exhibit 25 for both of their depositions.
Okay.
Amber, could you please describe for the jury what's depicted here?
That is my face after the phone incident. It's that night.
All right, let's bring Defendant 710, please.
I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling those photos. And trust me, I'd rather be like, oh, whoa, that's some damning information. That's some damning footage. Proof.
And Your Honor, I'm going to move
But-
the admission of Exhibit 710. The redactions have been already placed
All right.
on it.
That's
Any
all.
objection?
That's all
No
still.
objection. Thank you.
710 with the redactions, you can publish.
That's
If
all
we could
still.
publish, Your Honor.
That's all still very, very
And for the
questionable.
record, this photo was shown to Officer Sines and Officer Haddon. It was Exhibit 26 for both of their depositions. And please describe for the jury what's depicted here, Amber.
I'm not
That
buying
is my
this.
face in a different light that same evening after Johnny hit me with the phone.
Okay. Let's go ahead and go to Defendants Exhibit 711.
Unbelievable.
And I'm going to move the admission of 711, Your Honor, with the redactions.
All right, any objection?
No
All
objection.
right, 711 with redactions and evidence, publish.
And for the record, Your Honor, for the jury's purposes, this was shown to Officer Sines and Officer Haddon as Exhibit 27 to both of their depositions. And could you describe what's depicted here, Amber?
Yes, that is another angle, another lighting of my face after the phone
And
that
when,
evening.
and when you say angular lighting, what did Rocky do in taking these pictures?
Objection calls for speculation.
I said, what'd she do?
So overrule.
Thank you.
Raquel took pictures of my face in various places around the penthouse. The apartments have really different lighting, really dark in some places. Anyway, so we just took pictures in different lighting so that we had an accurate portrayal and depiction of what had happened.
And why did you take the pictures?
Raquel did it to protect me because the cops were coming, and we knew we knew that the police. I think at this point that they were already here. They were with us, but we weren't. Maybe this was right before. I'm not quite sure without seeing the timestamp, but we weren't sure what was going to happen, what the police were going to say, what they were going to do. We didn't know what Johnny was going to do, what he was going to say. So she wanted to protect me.
Okay. So let's go ahead and bring up 712.
I'm not buying it, y'all. I'm not buying it.
All right, now move the admission of 712, Your Honor.
All right, any objection?
No, thank you, Your
All
Honor.
right, 712 with redactions, you can publish.
Thank you, Your Honor. And please describe what's depicted here.
That is another picture of my face
Okay.
taken around the same time.
Okay. And then let's go to 713.
Oh, no, man. I don't know.
Move the admission of 713, Your Honor.
All right, any objection?
No objection.
All right, 713 with redactions, you can publish.
And for the record, this one was shown to Officer Sines and Officer Haddon as well as Exhibit 29 to both of their depositions. And just describe briefly to the jury what this is.
This is another picture of my face taken at the exact same time and in the same location as the other one, just with one of the lights turned on or an additional light turned on in the previous one.
Okay. Let's go to 714. Move the admission of 714, Your Honor.
No objection.
All right, 714 with redactions, you can publish.
And please tell the jury what this depicts.
This is another angle of my face or another picture of my face taken at a different time. I don't know if this is later or before because I can't see the time on it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Take that down. Let's go to 715.
Okay. Yeah, her cheeks look different for sure. I don't know if she did something. I don't know if she got work done, but it seems like she did something. So she has more shape to her face or something. I don't know. It's weird. It definitely looks different.
I'm going to move the admission of 715, Your Honor.
Immortal, what's up, Immortal?
No objection.
All right, 715 with redactions in evidence, you can publish.
Why
Thank
does
you.
every
And for the record, this one was shown to Officer Sines and Officer Haddon as Exhibit 17 for both.
she said why does every photo
Please
she
describe to the
produced
jury what's
look
what's
like
depicted
makeup?
here.
Yeah, I'm
That
wondering
is a
the same
picture
thing.
of my face. Some point later on in the night, it looks like that was taken in Rocky's apartment or the apartment that she was staying in.
Okay.
I don't know, man.
And let's go to 716.
Like where the lesions, where's the different colors of bruising on the face? You see what I'm saying? Like the none of that is in there. So I'm a little.
Move the admission of 716.
I don't know. This is not feeling.
No
Doesn't
objection,
feel
Your
right.
Honor.
All right. 716 evidence as redacted.
And Amber, could you please tell the jury what this picture depicts?
Yes, it's the business card that one of the police officers left for me in case I changed my mind and wanted to comment.
And were the pictures that we have just seen before this, were they taken before the pictures of the police card, the card that was left, after, or do you know?
Objection compound
It's
and
not,
calls for
Your
speculation.
Honor, compound is only.
Doesn't
Thank
that
you.
handwriting look the same?
We took pictures before, during, and after.
Doesn't that handwriting looks
And the
familiar?
question I had for you is the pictures you've seen so far, were those taken before, at the time of this, before this card was presented to you and you took the picture, after, or do you know?
Some of them were, but without seeing all the timestamps, I can't tell exactly.
Okay, that's fair. Thank you. Okay, and then I'm going to ask you to take this one down and go to 717.
Wow, I didn't catch that, Sweet Indigo. Thank you. $10 super chat. I guess no one caught that she said that she took photos to show the officers because she knew they were coming. That is fascinating. If she really did say that, that's wild. I did not catch that. Wow.
And I'm going to ask you, I'm going to move the admission of 717, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No
All
objection.
right, 717 is redacted in evidence.
Handwriting
Thank
on that
you.
business card, on that
And please
cop's
just
card
briefly
looks.
describe to the jury what this is.
The two officers that first responded left me that card. This is the front of the business card they left.
Can you tell the jury, just explain what the interaction was that you had with the police officers, just describing what you observed as they came through?
I did not want to speak to them. I asked that Raquel's partner or husband ask them to go away without speaking to me.
And just so the jury understands, who was Raquel's fiance at that time?
His name is Josh Drew, and he and Raquel lived in the apartment at Johnny's invitation across the hall from us. Raquel had keys. We kind of shared keys. They were our neighbors, but had keys to our house.
Okay. So why didn't you want to cooperate with the police?
Because I wanted to protect Johnny. I didn't want him to be arrested. I didn't want him to be in trouble. I didn't want the world to know.
Same cop said that they
I
didn't
didn't
see
want
anything.
this to come out. I didn't want him to be in trouble. I didn't want this to be. I wanted to protect Johnny.
Let's go to Defendants Exhibit 1374. That's 1374. One moment, Your Honor.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not feeling this. I'm sorry, guys. I am so sorry. Any Team Amber fan people out there, I'm really,
All right,
really
move the
sorry.
admission of
I'm just not
1374A,
feeling
Your Honor.
any of this
Any
footage.
objection?
No objection.
1374
Not at all.
evidence. 1374A in evidence. Sorry.
Thank you, Your Honor. And Amber, what is this?
It's another picture of my face after Johnny threw the phone at it.
Okay. And then let's go to 1493T.
Oh gosh. It's not cohesive. None of it. She trying though. She trying this.
And
She really
move the
trying
admission of
this. I just
1493T.
No objection.
All right. 1493T in evidence.
And what does this depict?
This is a picture of my face after that incident. Perhaps By the lighting, it looks like it might have been taken the next day, but I can't tell. I mean, I can't tell for sure.
Okay, and then let's go to 1493S. And move the admission of 1493S.
No objection.
All right, 1493S in evidence, published.
And what does this depict?
And this is another picture of my eye and side of my face.
Now, were there also pictures taken of the property that you described Mr. Depp destroying or damaging?
Yes, there were.
Okay, Michelle, can you bring up Defendants Exhibit 700? And based on your Honor's rulings, we will take off the metadata. Move the admission of Defendants Exhibit 700.
No objection with redaction.
700 with redactions, you can publish.
Can you please describe for the jury what's depicted in this photo?
Yes, my friend was preparing for a bead show and had displays to show these bead necklaces she made. And she needed some counter space in order to kind of set up the displays that she was going to use the next day. So she asked me earlier in the day if she could use the free counter space in that penthouse, penthouse 5, to kind of set up those display racks. They were set up in that room when Johnny went in there to destroy things, as he does.
And this depicts some of that damage?
Yeah, security let him in, even though I had asked
Objection, Your
security
Honor.
not to.
Speculation
I don't think that was speculation.
and lack of foundation.
Oh, I'll sustain as a foundation if you want.
Okay. So what's depicted in, what's the damage that was done?
What is this?
Well, because Johnny would always smash up my things and destroy my property when he was mad at me. I had asked that they not let him in so that he could do that. I mean, the only purpose for him to be let into penthouse 5 in that state, he doesn't have property in there. The only reason for him to go in there would be to destroy it. And they, of course, let him into penthouse 5
Objection, Your
so that
Honor.
he could go.
Yes, ma'am.
Lack of foundation.
All right, I'll sustain the
Oh,
objection.
boy.
Next question.
Just tell the jury what he did here that's depicted in this.
This
Yeah.
is just a one corner of the room that shows the destruction. He just went in there with this bottle swinging and smashed a bunch of things.
Objection, Your Honor. This
What?
is speculation.
What
It doesn't
destruction?
establish that she was there.
It looks like stuff on a couch
I'll
and,
sustain if you want to lay a foundation.
and a thing that was
Okay.
toppled over, and that's it.
Did
What are you
anybody
talking
else,
about?
to your knowledge, go in there and do this?
Objection, Your Honor. Calls for
I'm
speculation.
trying to lay the foundation here, John.
I'll sustain the objection. Next
She
question.
Well, let's do
She
this.
just walked over to the
Never
beads
mind,
and just
we'll
pushed
let
them
somebody
over.
else
That's
tell
it.
who did it, okay?
Sure.
Just
Hamburger.
all I'm asking here is what is the damage? What has been done that's depicted here?
This is just one of Raquel's bead racks that he
Objection, Your Honor. Speculation.
I'll sustain.
This is a
All right,
waste of
let's go to
time.
701.
Jesus. That's a waste of time. You just wasted 5 minutes on a photo where she literally could have walked over and just pushed the thing over and then took a photo. Get out of here. Get out of here. Anybody
Move the
could have done
admission of
that.
701.
Come on now.
With redaction, no objection.
All right.
Hamburger.
701 with redactions and evidence.
Thank you. Amber, can you please describe what's depicted here?
Yeah, it is our bedroom in penthouse 3, the main penthouse. Looks like he was just throwing things.
Objection, Your Honor. Calls for
Sustain the
speculation.
objection.
So just describe what you see here as opposed to what you say he did.
I see a bunch of art tossed on the bed.
Let's see it.
Okay, where was that art before Mr. Depp was at your house on May 21, 2016?
Come on, man.
Hanging
Come
on the
on.
wall where it belongs.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Let's go to, Michelle, can you bring up defendant 702, please?
Come on, man. Come on, man. You tell me that was damage? You tell me that was damage? That looked like somebody just put the photos on a bed and then took a photo. Get out of here. Come on, man.
Oh, Your Honor, and I forgot on the last two. For Defendants Exhibit 700, that was shown to Officer Sines and Haddon. It was Exhibit 39 to both of theirs. And Exhibit 701 was shown to Haddon only, and that was Exhibit 30 in his deposition. I move the admission of 702, please.
All right, any objection?
No objection.
All right, 702 with redactions.
Thank you, Your Honor. And let the record reflect this was also shown to Officer Haddon as deposition exhibit number 40. And can you please describe for the jury what's depicted here?
Yeah, what's that?
Yes, it is broken glass from one of the broken pictures that were hanging on the wall.
And where is this physically?
This is in penthouse 5 on the stairwell.
Okay. Michelle, can you bring up defendant 703, please?
Man. Show me a photo of him actually like in the middle of smashing something on the ground. You know what I mean? Show me a photo of that. You know? Show me him holding a sign saying, I did it.
Move the
You feel
admission of
me?
defendant 703.
Let me see that. That could be anything.
All right,
That could be
703 with redactions. You can publish.
that could
Thank
be
you, Your Honor.
anyone.
And let the record reflect that this was shown to Officer Sines and Officer Haddon as exhibit 41 for both of their depositions. And Amber, please describe for the jury what's depicted here.
It's another photograph of this stairwell in the same apartment, penthouse 5, which is the apartment where I kept my things.
Okay. And is that glass on the stairway?
Yes, from one of the broken picture frames on the wall. We had a lot of picture. I had a lot of picture frames on the walls, and many, if not most of them, were smashed.
Okay. Let's take this one down and go to 704, please, defendants. Michelle, thank you.
Probably on the bed taking a dump. Fatal. That's probably where the
Move
dogs
the
were at.
admission of defendant 704.
No objection.
All right, 704 with redactions. You can publish.
Thank you. And let the record reflect that this was shown to both Officer Sines and Haddon as exhibit 34 to both their depositions. And Amber, please describe for the jury what's depicted here.
Just another piece of glass. It looks like the base of a wine glass. That is in penthouse 3, the main apartment.
And when you say wine glass, did you see this particular glass?
There were glasses in the kitchen, and always. And when Johnny was walking out, I saw him myself swinging the magnum-sized bottle, and I could hear glass breaking and things falling.
Okay. Thank you. Michelle, can you bring up 705, please? Move the admission of 705.
No redaction. No, excuse me, no objection.
All right.
And let the
705 in evidence. with
Thank you,
redactions.
Your Honor.
Thank you. Go ahead.
And let the record reflect this was shown to Officer Haddon in Exhibit 36 of his deposition. Amber, can you please describe for the jury what's portrayed here?
Things knocked over on the kitchen countertop, and I see pieces of broken glass on the countertop as well.
Okay. Let's go to 707.
I'm not feeling it, y'all. I'm not. What happened? How y'all feeling on this?
Jury, what's depicted here?
There we go.
This is the hallway leading leading up to the apartments. So this is the hallway that connects all of the apartments. It's kind of an indoor-outdoor sort of hallway, meaning it's covered, but it's it's exposed on the far ends of both to the elements. So this is not carpet. It's like a plasticky, I don't know how to describe the material. It's like a plasticky kind of netting, not netting. It's difficult to describe, but it's a kind of an outdoor sort of carpet.
All right, and what's depicted there?
Wine on the floor and a little on the wall, it seems.
Okay. Let's go to 718, please.
I'm not feeling this, y'all.
Move the admission of 718.
No objection.
All right, 718 with redactions and evidence.
And let the record reflect this was shown to Officer Sines and Officer Haddon in Deposition Exhibit 31 for both of them.
Jamarcus, exactly.
Amber, please
man.
describe for the jury what's depicted here.
It's another photograph on the floor, not the wall.
Look
This
at
one
this
appears to be
photograph.
remarkably unbroken.
Okay. Let's go to 719, please.
Literally, his tantrums are like this. He'll be like, he's taking it and he's just going on the ground. Literally, he's taking a photo off the wall and just going like this
Move the
onto the
admission
floor.
of Defendant 719.
Most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
No objection.
All right, 719 with redactions.
This is rage.
Thank you, Your Honor. And let the record reflect that this was shown to Officer Sines and Haddon in their depositions, Exhibit 35 to both.
What is that, bananas?
And Amber, please just describe for the jury what's depicted here.
Is that pears?
That's one corner of the kitchen in penthouse 3. Looks like one of the things that was knocked off of the kitchen island when Johnny left.
Okay.
What is that?
Let's go to Defendant 720, please. Thank you, Michelle.
What is that? Was that pears? Were those like exotic fruits and vegetables? Like
Move the admission of
he just-
Defendant 720.
So you tell me he just
No
knocked
objection.
it over?
720 with redactions.
Man,
And let
then
the
he
record
walked
reflect, Your Honor,
away.
this was shown to Officer Sines and Haddon, Deposition Exhibit 43 to both.
Now that's more like it.
Amber, could you
Okay.
please describe to the jury what's depicted here?
That's my office. It's a corner of my office. And that is a box of like sentimental things from my childhood or things that are important to me. Keepsake box that has been dumped out, it looks like.
Okay.
Yeah, Angela.
Let's go to Defendant
A
721.
whole week to do this ish. Yeah, I was gonna say they don't look like mangoes. That didn't look like mangoes. Not the way that they were shaped, but at the same time, that's the only photo
With the
that I've
admission of
seen so
Defendant
far
721.
that could look like somebody was
No
mad.
objection, Your Honor.
721 with redactions. Published.
Thank you, Your Honor. And let the record reflect this was
Another
shown to
angle.
Officer Sines and Haddon in Deposition Exhibit 44 for both. Amber, please describe for the jury what this depicts.
It's again my office, different, same thing, different angle.
Okay. Let's go to 722.
These are all just photos of things being thrown, like discarded on the ground right now. I'm wanting to see like actual hard evidence footage of him doing something, showing him
admission of
throwing
Defendants
said
Exhibit
things,
722.
so on
No
and so
objection, Your
forth.
Honor.
All right, 722 with redactions and evidence. Thank you.
And let
No
the
time
record
dates,
reflect this
no
was shown to Officer
metadata.
Sines and Officer Haddon as Deposition
Spilled
Exhibit
wine.
42 to both.
Isn't
Amber,
DV?
please describe to the jury what's depicted here.
That's a picture of my friends and I when we were at that London house that Johnny punched.
Okay. You saw him punch this?
I heard it.
Okay. All right, let's go to 723, please. Move the admission of Defendant 723.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, 723
Yeah,
redacted
they're
and
running that
evidence.
clock.
Let the record reflect this was shown to Officer Sines and Haddon in their depositions, Exhibit 38 for both. Amber, please describe for the jury what's reflected.
One of the, it looks like a Magnum bottle of wine that is empty or spilled on the floor.
Can you tell where that is located?
It looks like it would be penthouse 5.
Okay. Let's go to 724. Move the admission of defendant 724.
No objection.
All right, 724 with redactions. Thank you.
And let the record reflect this was shown to Officer Sines and Haddon as their deposition exhibits 33. Amber, please tell the jury what's depicted here.
This is more wine that Johnny was spilling as he was using the bottle he was holding as a bat of sorts.
Let's go to 725. We're almost done, just 2 more. Promise.
No kidding. Are we? You said 2 more. Let's. Come on,
Move the
man.
admission of defendant 725.
No
All
objection.
right, 725 with redactions.
Let the record reflect this was shown to Officer Sines and Haddon as deposition exhibit 37 to their depositions. Amber, please tell the jury what's depicted here.
More spilled wine on the floor. This looks like penthouse 5.
Okay. And last but not least, Michelle, please, defendants 726.
So far, damning evidence.
Move the admission of.
Sarcasm.
No objection.
Okay.
Your Honor, I believe
I'm not feeling this
jury.
at all.
needs a tissue.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We will get a tissue. Yes. Thank you, Halisa. All right, no objection, 726 with redactions. Thank you.
All right, and let the record reflect that this one was shown to Officer Hines and Haddon as deposition 32 exhibit to their depositions. And Amber, please just describe to the jury what's depicted here.
More spilled wine on the floor. Penthouse 3 appears.
Okay, thank you. Now, when the police officers were there, did either of them take you aside by yourself and talk with you?
Yes.
Which one, or both?
The male officer I did not have much interaction with. The female officer said she needed to speak to me by myself, pulled me aside. We went into penthouse 3, the main penthouse, to speak there because I had been in penthouse 1, Raquel and Josh's apartment up until that moment.
Okay, and then what, if anything, did she ask you?
She asked me if I would make a statement, if I would cooperate. She kind of indicated to me, I don't remember if it was what word she said, but she kind of gestured to my face and.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
I think she could, if she gesturing to her face is not hearsay,
I'll
it's not a statement.
I'll sustain the objection. Next
Okay,
question.
and it's also not offered to prove the truth of the matter.
I'll sustain the
Okay.
objection. Next question.
So what happened next? Let's do this. How long were you with the officer when she took you aside?
A few minutes, if that.
Okay. And as a result of that, did you cooperate?
No, I did not, but it was my understanding that I couldn't stop them from walking through the apartment, which is what they indicated to me.
Okay. And were you with them when they walked through the apartment?
No, Josh, I was with them at the beginning of penthouse 3. Josh, Raquel's partner, took over from there and showed them around the house up through penthouse 3, which connects on the top floor to the neighboring apartment, penthouse 4, and then on to penthouse 5. They all connect on the top level. So Josh walked the officers through the through the house.
Okay. And what, if anything, did you say about the identity of Mr. Depp?
Nothing.
Were you asked,
Yes.
or you refused to tell them?
Objection leading.
Sustain.
Okay. Why did you refuse to tell the police officers Mr. Depp's identity?
Because I did not want them to arrest Johnny. I did not want this to happen. I did not want any of this to happen. I didn't want to get him in trouble. So I said, well, I can't. I just refused to cooperate.
Okay. Now, approximately how long were the police officers there?
I don't recall exactly, maybe, I'd say less than half an hour. I really don't know exactly, but they weren't there very long at all.
Okay. Now, after the police officers left, what did you do?
We cleaned up a bit because there was broken glass and we had dogs. So we tried to clean up the mess, and especially the glass. And Josh, Rocky, Liz, and I, we kind of just cleaned up and eventually sat on the couch, and they just tried to comfort me.
What, if any, knowledge did you have that there was going to be a second set of officers coming later that night?
I didn't know about that. That surprised me.
When did you learn that a second set of officers were coming to the penthouse that night?
I think I learned about it when they were there, when they arrived.
Okay. And we've seen the body-worn video on that. Is there anything that you recall outside of what was reflected on Officer Gateland's body-worn video?
I couldn't see much of what was on that video. I just, I remember being surprised that they were there, not really knowing why they were there. I assumed it was because I was encouraged to make a statement by the first set of officers.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
All right, I'll
Just keep
sustain
going
the objection.
forward.
Come
Okay.
on with it.
And I was sitting on the couch. It was sometime hours, maybe between an hour, 2 hours, maybe more. I don't really recall, but we had cleaned up and we were resting, and they were comforting me when they came. And they didn't seem to, they didn't do what the first set of officers did. They just kind of came into the apartment, confirmed that that I was okay, or that we were okay. They didn't really seem to be that concerned. And they didn't demand to do a walkthrough like the first set of officers had. And they left.
Okay. And what, if any, cooperation did you give them?
Well, I didn't need to. I didn't really cooperate with them. I didn't talk to them. I didn't even get up off the couch. I was speaking to them from a quite a bit of a distance, like between you and I, and maybe more. And I didn't really say anything. I just kind of acknowledged that they entered, and that was it.
Did you provide them with Mr. Depp's name?
No way.
Did they ask?
No.
All right. I'm going to take you to the next day, May 22. And I'm going to, Michelle, can you bring up Defendants Exhibit 772? What, if any, efforts did Mr. Depp make to reach out to you the day after this happened?
Well, he made several efforts. Immediately, he kind of reached out and lashed out. Again, kind of going on what seems to be slightly delusional, thinking that just because he saw my friend's beads out on the countertop, that it had become a workshop or a studio for her. So he seemed angry about, this perception that this bead display that my friend had set up was evidence of her running some sort of workshop. And he also accused us of having invited someone else to live there who
Rent-free.
who wasn't living there.
Rent-free.
Who was just in the apartment.
All your
when
friends
Johnny
rent-free.
stormed in.
on,
So he
man.
just kind of lashed out, and then the tone changed in the days that followed.
And let me stop you there. So I'm going to ask you to take a look at Defendants Exhibit 772. And is this a text message from Mr. Depp to you?
Yes, it is.
And it's on 5/22 at 12:23 a.m. So it's early morning hours after 5/21. Would that be fair?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm going to move the admission of Defendant 772.
No objection.
All right, 772 and evidence with the identifiers redacted and published. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. All right, and I know you started to talk about this, Amber, but it says, I'm an idiot, PH5 is Rocky's studio. You are shameless. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay, was that what you were talking about with him thinking that you're,
Yes.
okay. And then obviously we can read that he says, I tried to make it work. You just turned more and more into a spoiled brat. All you wanted was to make me fucking miserable. Well, I'm finally there. I'll never be able to understand how I fell in love with you. You're not her. I loved you more than anything. I did everything that I could, but you never fucking loved me. I was merely convenient for you. I hope our divorce goes as quickly as possible and that it is as painless as possible. So sorry you were as unhappy with me as you were. Obviously, the purity of whatever was has been gone for a long time. I will miss the moments of beauty and truth. Goodbye, Amber. What the fuck was I thinking? I wish you all you merit. The former him. What, if any, discussions did you have with Mr. Depp about divorce that night?
He didn't say anything wrong, in my personal opinion.
We
Sounds like a man that
did
was
not
used.
have a discussion about that that evening. We didn't have time. He was obsessed with dog poop.
Okay.
That's what he wanted to talk about.
All right, let's take this down and let's go to Defendants Exhibit 773.
He was obsessed with dog poop. Are you serious? That's all she. Oh my dear God. That's a man that was used, right? A man that was used, abused,
Now,
ran
this
through.
is a text exchange between you and
That's
Mr.
a much
Depp.
nicer message than I think
It
he could have
starts
given
with
her. Real
Mr.
talk.
Depp on 5/21 at 6:58 p.m. just saying here. Does that refresh your recollection of when he arrived at your penthouse on May 21?
Yes.
Okay. And then the next series are on 5/22. They start at 5/13. And you're discussing talking. You said, sorry, I'm just leaving Amanda's birthday now. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
All right. And then he responds to that, correct?
Yes.
All right, Your Honor, I'd like to move the admission of Defendant 773.
Your Honor, if we could just have a minute to review this
Sure.
exhibit.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it just this page?
No, there's
3 pages.
3 pages.
I'm just reading Michelle's hands.
Listen, the letter that they just read, do you blame him? I mean, as a man who's been pushed beyond the limits, been abused, been used, her friends and friends and some family members went and lived in his spots, all these penthouses that he had, all of them rent free. People were starting to do other things in his place that he had no knowledge of until later on. Maybe there were workshops that were going on in other penthouses that he was paying for, that they were staying
No objection, Your
in
Honor.
rent free.
773
I mean,
and
I don't
evidence
blame
with
a guy.
identifiers redacted.
I do not blame a guy being angry. That is,
Thank you.
there's much worse he could have done, and he did not. He wrote something and said, goodbye, good riddance. I want out, just like
Okay,
you,
we've got to
you
publish to the
do
jury.
as
So let's
well.
go to the top.
Do you
Michelle,
blame a
and-
guy
So it starts
speaking
out with him. This is the
through
5/21,
frustration?
6:58 p.m. saying he's
That
there,
does not
correct?
mean he
Yeah,
put
but
his
I think
hands
he
on
came
her,
in
ever.
Later than that, took him some time.
Okay. And then if we move up, the next one is
I feel bad for this
You,
dude. Real talk. It's
at
terrible.
5/22
How are they doing this? Why are they
at
using this?
5:13 p.m., correct?
This is not good.
Yes.
And then you say, thank you, and then can we still speak in a min? What do you recall of why you sent those texts?
I believe we had spoken on the phone,
This is bad.
or they. I can't control this, correct? The screen. I don't know.
We can give you control. Yes, maybe we should do that.
This is not helping her argument. This is not helping her narrative at all.
Okay, go ahead. Your Honor,
But
can we
she
get?
can't
Okay.
scroll. She's asking to scroll.
Okay, Michelle, let's have you scroll if you can. Just go ahead and scroll through just slowly so she can read the whole thing.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right, does that help refresh your recollection?
Yes, I believe that I believe he had apologized to me after the phone incident. I had commitments that I had to attend the following day on the 22nd. So the beach show I referenced, I mentioned to you, I had to go to. I also had to bring a cake to a friend's birthday party. So I had things I unfortunately had to do that day. And I remember there was communication with Johnny, both by phone and by text, where he was telling me that he was clean, that he was sober, he was clear mind, it wasn't the monster, and that he was so sorry. But I had already committed to filing for divorce. And eventually I have to let him know that it's not just saying it in the anger, in the fights that like we had done, both he and I did that at times in some of our fights, especially towards the end of our relationship. And so I let him know that I was serious about filing this time, and that I had had enough after the phone.
Objection, Your Honor,
I had
hearsay.
enough.
Okay.
Overruled. Go ahead.
All right, I'm going to draw your attention to the bottom of the page, Defendants Exhibit 773, and this is at 5:22, so this is 6:19 p.m. Do you see that? 5:22? And he says, just let me know when you have a minute, and I'll give you a call. Nothing I have to say, you should elicit anything but a sense of ease. Do you see that?
Yes.
And then he says, all my love and profound apologies. What was he apologizing for?
Objection,
Do you
calls
know?
for speculation.
What was your understanding of what he was apologizing for?
Speculation, Your Honor.
I'll sustain the objection.
Okay. In his phone call with you, did he tell you what he was apologizing for?
Yes.
What did he say?
He was sorry that he reacted the way he did. He said he didn't mean to hurt me. He didn't mean to hurt me. If he really hurt me that bad, he's sorry. That he didn't mean to.
Okay.
Oh,
Michelle, if we can go to the next page.
Come on.
Up to the green, please.
Like, blah. Like, I'm done.
And he says here, I'm sad, I'm scared, and I'm broken, my sweet Slim. And then he says, I want you happy. I have zero harsh feelings. I am clear and I am me. What did you understand him to mean by I am clear and I am me?
Objection, Your Honor, calls for speculation.
Do you
I
have
know
an
what he
understanding?
meant.
Okay.
Your Honor,
Did
there's
he
a
use
lot.
that phrase with you?
I'll hold on. I'll sustain that objection.
I'm
You can
trying to
actually-
get to the
Yeah, I
next
know.
one
Then
here.
you can ask your next question. Go
Thank
ahead.
you. Did he use those phrases with you during your marriage?
Yes, he did.
What did Mr. Depp mean when he says I'm clear and I am me?
Objection, calls for speculation.
I think I established the foundation.
Overruled. Go ahead.
Thank you.
that he had sobered up. That he had sobered up and he was not the monster again, that he was him. That he was a good guy I loved. The one that I trusted.
All right, I'm going to ask Michelle if you can take that one down and bring in 771, which has already been admitted. Now, those text exchanges were in the 6 o'clock to almost 7 o'clock range. And here it's 5:22, it's now 8 o'clock, correct?
Yes.
And he's telling you, sorry if a bit, please know that my hurt towards you is over. My apologies are eternal and belong to you. Solid. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay. And was it your understanding he was apologizing again?
Objection, Your Honor. Calls for speculation.
All right, I'll sustain the objection.
Okay. Was there anything else he would have been apologizing for that he had done?
Objection, calls for
I'll
speculation.
sustain the objection.
That's it. Okay. So tell the jury how you felt in that week, May 22 through May 27, and what you decided to do.
At the time, it felt like the hardest thing I've ever had to do. I had worked so hard to try to make this relationship work. I went to therapy and went to Al-Anon. I got help. I read books. I did everything I could possibly do, and it didn't work. And I was conflicted. To answer your question, I was conflicted. I knew after he threw the phone at my face that after all that month of not seeing each other, that not getting better, not getting clean and sober, there wasn't even, I didn't, you know, it was falling apart. I knew I had to leave him. I knew I wouldn't survive it if I didn't. So I made the decision to file for divorce. It was hard because, you know, I loved Johnny so much. I loved him so much.
And why did you file for divorce?
Because I knew if I didn't, I'd likely not literally survive. I'm so scared that it was going to end really badly for me. And I really didn't want to leave him. I loved him so much. I would have done anything, but I couldn't do that one thing. I couldn't stay. The promise and the hope that I had become less and less regular and more rare. The monster had been this thing that was now the normal and not the exception. The violence was now normal and not the exception. And it was so hard. It was so hard, but I knew I had to do it. I believe he would have taken it too far. I wouldn't be here.
Why did you ask for a domestic violence temporary restraining order?
I wanted to change my locks. I wanted a good night's sleep.
Your locks.
Security
Okay.
would always let him into the house no matter what I asked them. No matter when I begged them to let me know when he was coming over, no matter how much I begged them not to let him in when he was mad or drunk or high. And I couldn't sleep. I'd wake up in a panic.
I was losing hair. I was losing weight. I got really sick. I had shingles. I couldn't sleep. I'd wake up in a panic attack. I had panic attacks all the time. I was falling apart. I was scared.
Anybody believe in this?
Very conflicted because the person I was scared of is also the person I was in love with.
Anybody buying this?
Really tricky.
She had shingles.
And
Yeah, she said that.
was thinking one step at a time.
Apparently
I
she's
was
an old
thinking
woman.
very myopically. I wanted just to get a good night rest, a good night's sleep. I just wanted to change my locks.
Your locks. Let me say that again. Your
Thought
locks.
it'd be healthier if I got some sleep and I could think about what to do or how to handle this. If I just could sleep and
Right. Shingles.
when I did, I realized that that wasn't enough, that he could get it in any way, that the building wasn't going to stop him from getting a locksmith and coming in. I knew that he would do what he wanted.
Objection, Your Honor, calls for speculation.
Overruled.
Not up for debate. Thank you.
All right, next.
Okay.
Shingles.
Did Mr. Depp show up for the hearing on the DVTRO?
Canine
No,
IBS.
he didn't.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
And why did you show up?
Because I had to provide testimony for why I needed a restraining order.
What, if any, warning did you give Mr. Depp about obtaining the DVTRO?
We gave him warning. My counsel and his counsel were in communication and we let them know. We had to. It was mandatory. It's my understanding of it. I'm not a lawyer.
Was there any confusion surrounding whether Mr. Depp was going to file suit as well?
Objection, Your Honor, calls for speculation.
I'm
Lack
done.
of foundation.
I'm
I'll sustain as the
done.
foundation. If you like.
LJ, I'm
Did
done.
you have any
Lady
confusion
Justice.
as to whether Mr. Depp was going to file as well?
So I filed for divorce on the 23rd, I believe. And I thought that when I went in that Tuesday, when we filed for it, remarkably, it managed to stay under the radar. You know, these filings are not private. You can't make them private in California. And remarkably, it had flown under the radar. No one picked up on the fact that I had filed. And as limited as it sounds now, I just wanted as much privacy as we could have. You know, one day at a time, I wanted as much privacy as we could possibly get. And the filing had been missed by TMZ and, you know, these paparazzi outlets and stuff. But between the communications between our counsel, I realized that Johnny was going to file in
Objection,
retaliation.
hearsay.
I'll sustain the objection.
I'm trying to think how to ask this. So without saying what the counsel said, what was your understanding and what was your concern?
Objection, hearsay.
I'll sustain the objection.
All right, well, let's move on. Michelle, can you bring up Defendants Exhibit 800, please? Move the admission of Defendants Exhibit 800.
Any objection?
I didn't
No
see
objection,
any.
Your Honor.
All right,
I haven't seen
800
any
evidence.
tears.
Publish.
By the way,
Amber,
this
can you
trial
describe
is
to the jury what this picture is?
brought to you by
It's a picture
Crystal
of my
Light
face while I'm sitting at
packets.
the courthouse.
And were you wearing any makeup?
I was wearing nothing, not a stitch of makeup.
Michelle, can you bring up 801, please?
Oh no, I don't believe that one.
Move the
That
admission
photo
of
is
801.
that
No
photo.
objection.
801 in evidence.
That photo has been looked at and talked about so much. I don't believe
And
that
Amber,
photo
if
at
you
all.
can tell the jury
This
what
one right
this is.
here, she's playing a part right now, even in the
Me while I
photo.
was obtaining my restraining order. It's me in the courthouse.
Okay. And what, if anything, did you do while you were at the courthouse? Did you testify?
Oh, I provided testimony and sat there and cried.
And did you obtain a domestic violence restraining order? Temporary
I
restraining order?
did. The court granted me a restraining order at that time.
When you left the courthouse,
I can't
what
even look at
did
this
you
photo.
experience?
I walked into the courthouse. It was quiet. First thing in the morning. No one knew about my divorce, so I thought it was going to stay that way. And I walked out to a sea of paparazzi and cameras.
She was ready for it, though. She was ready for it.
It was, to that point, at that point in my life, had never seen so many photographers, and they just surrounded me as I walked out of that courthouse.
You don't think your PR team did that for you?
Screamed at me, screamed horrible things at me.
Just saying.
I'm going to take you just for a moment to makeup, and then that would put
Okay,
after
good
that.
break point. Okay, great.
That'll be
All right,
a
thank
good
you.
breaking point after the makeup. You
Yes.
said that you didn't testify, you didn't wear any makeup that day. We've heard all kinds of things about makeup in this case. Could you please tell the jury what your regular routine was with respect to makeup?
What do you do? What's your morning routine?
Yes, I get up and wash my face like most of us, and I put on right away a moisturizer that has tinted foundation in it. And then I put another foundation on because it has sunblock in it. I have a skin condition that my skin reacts to the sun in a bad way. So I have to wear sunscreen or sunblock every day. Anyway, so I put on both of those. I put on concealer.
Brought to you by L'Oreal.
I do that before I leave my bathroom in the morning. That's obviously if I don't have a bruise.
Now, when you had bruises or cuts of any nature, what would you do about those? Would you try to cover them up? Would you try to leave them showing? What would you do?
Objection, Your Honor, leading.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
She got a skin condition.
Well,
she can't be out in the sun.
I am typically photographed in LA when I leave the house, paparazzi type of photograph. So I'm somewhat aware of that anyway. And no woman wants to walk around with a bruise on her face.
On her face?
So if I do have a bruise on my face or someplace visible, the main thing, you have to ice right away to reduce swelling because no amount of makeup can fix swelling, but it's very manageable if you ice it really soon. Arnica is also a great remedy, arnica cream. And then if you want to cover up a bruise, you obviously put foundation first, concealer, and then on top of that, I used a bruise kit. Not a bruise kit, it's a theater makeup kit, a color correction kit, but I called it my bruise kit.
And let me, I use this, I think, in opening statement, and it's Defendants Exhibit
If you could by
155.
the microphone, please.
Oh.
We can't hear you. There you go.
May I approach the witness to?
Well, that's what you could show counsel.
I have a feeling we're not going to be able to. She might not be
this is what I'm
cross-examined
talking
today.
about as a color correction kit. This is not obviously the exact one I used to carry, but I used to carry it with me all the time. Sometimes this pink is sometimes a little bit more purple of a hue, and sometimes the kits are 3 colors. You can get them in 3 or 4 colors. Sometimes they have even more. But the idea is that you want to counteract whatever color you're working with on the bruise. So the first day of bruising, the immediate is red. Red is what shows up right away. So you want to go with the opposite on the color wheel by dabbing on a bit of the green or something to counteract the red. After a day or 2, you get more purple in a bruise. So you'd obviously have to go with more of the red tones, the orange tones here. Day 2 for me was always the trickiest because day 2 I feel like, day 1 and day 2 are hardest for me because that's when you get the most blues and purples and you have to deal with the sensitivity. Bruises don't like to be touched. That's the whole point. So that's the trickiest part. But After a few days, that becomes more of that blue becomes more of a brown, yellowish browns, like a 5-7 days in becomes more of a yellow green, and then fades into a brown and then into your skin. And whatever color you're working with in the bruise, you want to go opposite color on the color wheel.
Oh, man.
Well,
she knows her bruises.
The opposite. In the first couple of days, when you have more of the typical bruise color, the blues and the purples, you want to go more of the orange on the color wheel as opposed to the greens that you start with, and then it progresses from there. I also noticed that bruising on your face tends to heal a lot faster than, at least for me, it was faster healing than bruises on my body, or at least it seemed like that to me. And a nose is pretty much unrecognizable after a day or two, depending on how much you ice it. Lips are the hardest because they crack and bleed, of course, but it's easy to hide with lipstick if you're a woman, or if you wear lipstick, I suppose.
We heard some testimony of people in the week of May 21st to 27th saying that you didn't wear a stitch of makeup. Was that true?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled. They just don't know what they're talking about. I always wear makeup.
Okay. You always wear makeup?
It's part of my bathroom routine in the morning. Wash my face. I put on moisturizer. My moisturizer has tinted foundation in it, and I'm certainly not going to walk around LA with bruises on my face.
Okay. I think that's
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and take our lunch recess at this time. Again, do not do any outside research and do not discuss the case with anybody. And we'll see you in an hour, okay? Thank you.
Yeah, I really don't think we are going to be seeing...
Court is still in session, so please be quiet in the gallery. Thank you.
Yeah, shush. Shush. Sheesh. Her face. What a wild ride.
And again, Ms. Hurd, since you're still under oath and testifying, you cannot discuss this case to include with your attorneys, okay? In your testimony. All right. Let's come back then at 1:40. Okay. All right. Thank you. 1:40.
What a wild ride right now. Yeah. She's trying to explain some stuff. And that's the question. Do you buy it or no? Okay. Aside from the dog eating a whole bag of weed, I guess I guess Boo was the Brian Griffin of the family at that time, but ate a whole bag of weed and then suddenly has no way of controlling their bowels. So after that, we're looking at all these photos, we're looking at all this stuff, and for me, it goes down the line of how much of this is true? How much of it can we actually believe? For me, I'm having a really, really hard time believing any of the footage. Even the photos, when you look at these photos, you look at all the stuff, the photos of the place when it was all in disarray. The disarray, I was like, where's the disarray? There ain't no array. Where the dis of the array? I got no, like, where the hell is it? Oh, well, we're just going to throw a fruit basket on the floor and take a photo. The pictures where he's like, she said he was throwing things around and acting a damn fool with pictures and stuff. There were pictures that were on the bed. And then one picture that was on the floor, not even shattered, nothing bad with it, just on the floor. Yes, there was that photo that was hanging, but it was still up on the wall. And it was broken. Sure, that's fine. That could have been anything. That could have been from anyone. None of that footage that we saw of spilt wine, like a little bit of spilt wine, a broken glass. Man, if they were kicking it and partying like rock stars, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a broken glass. Even the most tame of parties, somebody always spills or drops or something. So you see all that footage. You look at all this footage, and you're telling me that is a room that looks like it's a room of disarray, that looks like a room of chaos, of violence, of we need to separate these two because it's insane. We're scared for these people. I'm sorry. I am just not feeling it. I am not. I'm wondering what this is.
2016,
I wanted to see what it was doing. Maybe some recaps
the
here.
police were called.
They were called in December of 2011. They were called in 2012. They were called in 2013 in March by the landlord.
Okay.
I had sought advice from Laurel Anderson as to whether I should call the police.
Objection, hearsay.
Okay, fine. So you have all this stuff. This woman's out here saying, she's out here in these streets saying, oh, I had, I had called the cops on several days, back to back to back. Even the landlord called the police, all that. Where's the footage? Where is the documentation of those things? And then on top of that, where is this landlord that could literally attest and confirm everything she's saying right now? I haven't heard anything like that at all. I haven't heard nothing. Not one thing. Then but going back to those photos, we look at all those photos and we're sitting there going, well, this looks like somebody just literally there was a photo on the wall, a picture on the wall. And he just took it out and went like this. Where should I put this? There. Now take a picture of that. The pictures of the picture of the frames that were on the bed. Real talk. The picture of the frames that were on the bed. You have got to be kidding me. You have literally got to be kidding me. You're telling me he was angry. He's like, brah, he's throwing things around. He's an angry albino gorilla. Okay? Just running around. Brah. Take these photos down. I'm angry. I'm gonna gingerly put them on the bed. And then go over there and then knock over. Go into the kitchen. There's a basket of fruit. He runs over to the thing. Angry as hell. He goes, and he just pushes over the basket of bananas or what the hell it was, fruits and veggies. You're telling me that was him losing his mind? Does it look like he was having a moment where he was getting violent and wanted to hurt somebody? Makes no sense. So then same cops come through. They go and check this thing in, check this thing out. They look in like, hello, ma'am, you all right? And she's like, oh my God, clutch my pearls. Scared for my life. They go in there. They check out everything. Look around the place and they say, nope, looks like everything's fine here. Sweetheart, if there's any issues, just please give us a call. If you really do feel like you really are in dire straits, if you really do think that you're in a bad place, please, here's our card. Give us a call. Okay, sweetheart? Sorry, you got a dude who going in here. Rah! Take down this. Man. Rah! Kitchen. Damn it. Fruit basket. Rah! Like what? I'm sorry. It's a no for me, dog. It is a no for me. Okay? I'm sorry. Like, I'm not one to ever try to make jokes or try to be funny about any type of DV because it is a very serious thing. But you cannot tell me that the footage that they've given out so far is viable footage that shows that this man did some really terrible things. Let me just say this too. Let me just say this really, really quick, because this is the one piece that I'm still trying to wrap my mind around, and it's with the actual Team Heard in general. What are you doing? I'm just saying, real quick, ladies and gentlemen of Team Heard, what is your plan? What are you trying to do here? Because that's something I'm still trying to figure out. What are you doing? Why did you choose to go? Why? I just don't get it. I really don't get it. What would make you go and say, no, we're gonna bring all this stuff in because this is viable evidence. Oh, and then let's talk about this email or this message that he sent her. Basically saying like, hey, you've pushed me through, you dragged me through the ringer. I've had enough, so on and so forth. Okay. So you're telling me that this is a man that's just basically been pushed to his limits, been used beyond everything, not only just with his love, his generosity, his care, trying to be a good husband for the most part, we could say that we could use that loosely, right? But that man was doing everything he can to support not only her, but her friends as well and keeping her happy. And he's like, hey, I got these penthouses, sweetheart. Yeah, your friends can have this. They can be here. Rent free, by the way. Wasn't there for just, oh, you're going to pay rent and all that. No, that did not happen. No. They were there for rent. They were there rent free. And you've got to remember, some people, if they get it, if you give them an inch, they will take they'll take 10 miles. Okay. So you got a guy who's going in there or, letting them have these spaces and they're totally, fully taking advantage of his spoils. So then, of course, you see a man go into a place and see, let's just say, places filled with beads, these necklaces and stuff like that. And I'm not sitting here, not knocking anybody who wants to do designing necklaces and bead necklaces and stuff like that. It's still an amazing skill to have. Real talk, okay? And I'm sure that person is talented as well. But you go back into that room and maybe you are already pissed off. You've had enough. You've been fighting with your wife. Your wife is being ungrateful, as he said in the that email or that text message, just saying, hey, you are just seriously a spoiled brat, and I've had enough. And then he goes inside that place that he pays for. It is his place. He pays for it. No one else does. And he sees a shop. He sees a workplace in his apartment, in this penthouse that he spends thousands a month on, that somebody else is living there for free and now turning that place into a damn store and doing business out of his penthouse after being ran through the mud with this wife who is constantly putting her hands on him, constantly emasculating him, constantly talking down at him, constantly giving him hell. They are constantly butting heads, and he's going, all these people have come in and have taken full advantage of me. Of course, I'd be pissed off too. But you're telling me, you show me a photo of a couch and there's a bead, like necklace holder, right, stand that is sitting on was sitting on a counter. And that's the only damn thing that's been toppled over. So again, he went into the penthouse. It takes a minute to open up the door. Goes in there, sees that necklace stand holder thingy, and he goes, they got beads here. I hate beads. Runs over and just, pushes that one thing over. That only thing over. And then rages back out of the penthouse. Please, somebody make this make sense for me. So they take a photo of this on a couch, and that's what we find? A toppled over necklace stand? Come on. Come on. Where's the footage? Where's the photos? Where's the real photos of a man losing his mind and going into a drunken, drug-infused rage? Where's him getting caught in 4K, going absolutely bonkers? All that footage that we saw there seemed as if it was like, I'm sorry, I hate to say it like that, but seemed to me like she went into the kitchen, grabbed the fruited basket, and she just and then took out her phone and took a picture. went into the bedroom, said, I've had enough. I've had enough of this BS too. Went over into the bedroom, took down some frames, gingerly put them on top of the bed, and took a picture of it. Then went over to her office where she said all of her, a box filled with all of her keepsakes and her personal stuff, her own stuff, sentimental value crap. Shoves it off. I mean, that's the only mess that I saw. That part, the box toppled over. To me, and I saw it in the chat here too, to the fam. Hello, fam. But to me, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this man was trying to pack her ish. That's what I think. I agree. Some people were saying that in the comment section. I honestly think that he went and he was like, yo, to the left. He was turning into a Beyonce song. Real talk. He's like, I'm done. We're going to take all your ish down. You don't need to have any presence in this home ever again. I'm sick and tired of your ass. Kick mother loving rocks, Amber Heard. That's what I think. What really went down. I did not see. Okay, sure. Broken glass from a wine glass. A magnum, as she kept saying, a magnum bottle of wine that was on the floor. On the floor, but not shattered. It was on the floor, but it was not shattered. I want to point that out. That does not mean that this man was raging. You tell me that's rage? You tell me that's a man going through a house raging? Man, then wow. Okay? But to me, I think he was packing up her stuff and saying, get your ish and get this stuff out of my house. All your friends that are your sycophantic, blood-sucking, energy-draining friends that are living off of my back right now, that I'm paying for every single last one of them for them to stay and have a roof over their damn heads, living in my homes, living in my properties, rent-free. All y'all can jump into that your Partridge Family Volkswagen wagon and get the kick rocks. Get out. Go. I don't care anymore. Get out. You put your hands on me. You talk too much ish on me. I'm out. Deuces. That's what I think. That's what I really think. But as he, of course, is taking down these photos and everything, she's taking the opportunity to take some photos. And she's going, he's raging. He's raging so much. Where's the rage? Please, guys, show me where the rage is. Please tell me where the rage is in those, at least in those photos. Where it be at, though? Where the rage? Okay. Then let's go back a little bit. Let's retract just a tiny bit. Let's just hit that rewind button. Go. In the very beginning, when we got started, of course, because I started late. I didn't know that we're starting at 8 and not 8:30. I thought they were going to do 8:30. But here it is, though. They started off, and she literally said, let's talk about Poopgate. She literally said, oh, no, it wasn't a prank. But it wasn't that the whole thing that he was saying, that she was saying to him, that, oh, it's a prank. It was a joke. It was a prank. But then on the stand, she said, no, it wasn't a prank. Then she blames it on the mother-loving dog. Poor Boo. Real talk. She went in and was like, I'm putting all the blame on Boo. Boo took a boo-boo, and it's all his fault. All her fault. I'm sorry. Poor Boo. Man, like, like I said before, the only being that's really been getting a brunt of the problems, of the blame, is a little Yorkie named Boo. That's apparently no longer with us anymore. But real talk, poor bloody Boo. What'd he do to you? I keep thinking that Boo is a boy, but my bad. What did she do to you, girl? What did Boo ever do to you, girl? It just doesn't make sense to me, y'all. You got a dog. that's literally being blamed for poop on Johnny's side of the bed. Then she also was saying that he just was so focused on dog feces. He was just so focused on feces. Like, how many times do you say feces, y'all? And I don't know if Boo is gone. I don't know if she has passed on or not, but I'm assuming she ain't here no more because the papa got the dog. She gave the dog over to her papa. And that dad runs his own dog fighting ring. He's been arrested several times for it. So you think that he said, no, I'm going to keep this dog here for myself so I can she going to be my little lap dog. Just like like Dr. Evil, okay? And his cat or something. No. I'm assuming Boo be gone. Boo gone. And that's what sucks. Boo can't even testify and defend herself. She can't even speak up. So of course she notice every single person that she's ever put their names on it and said, oh, they were there during such and such, or I confided in them and all that. All of them be dead. All of them be currently dead. Even Boo. So Boo can't even go up there or can't even do that. Can't even do that. Ain't that some BS, y'all? So we just watched some more BS, and it's not even over yet. We still got another half of this trash again. But here's the thing. I really don't think that we're going to see cross examinations here. I don't think that they're going to be tossing it over to Team Depp here soon. I mean, if they do, that'd be great because right now I'm getting bored. I'm getting tired of seeing this BS. And Raquel, I don't know if Raquel is still around. I don't know if IO is around either. But that's why I'm wondering why they're not brought in for this trial. Why aren't they on the list for witnesses for Team Heard on her behalf? You want to know why I don't think that they are on here? It's because she's lying. She is straight lying through her teeth and will continue to do so until this trial is over. Anything so that she can secure that $100 million bag. Let's keep it real. And I've heard so many different stories from so many different angles. There's allegedly a podcast of a co-host, or like not a co-host, a co-star that was in a movie with her that I'm probably going to be watching and showing you guys later on this evening. But straight up telling stories about how she sits there and goes, oh, I don't do the coke. I don't do the cocaine. I don't mess with that kind of stuff. No, none of that. Not at all. But then there are co-hosts and other, not co-hosts, but other actors that have worked with her that are literally saying she is lying. She is full on lying. She is not telling the truth. She's pulling all this ish out of her ass. Got a comment here I want to pull up. Susan McIntosh. Raquel is no longer a friend. IO was found to have lied on declaration. Stated he was in LA when he was not. See what I'm saying? Raquel is no longer a friend. Why do you think she ain't a friend no more with Amber? Because she was like, I can't lie for you. Or I will not continue to lie for you. Then you got to look at the cops. Amelia just said cops. Yeah, let's talk about the cops. Let's talk about the cops. I'll go back to that one more time. Cops showed up at that apartment, at that penthouse. Looked around at everything. Now, here's one thing though, because also what y'all pointed out too, that she said that she took pictures because she wanted to have them for the cops. So tell me this, riddle me this really quick, okay? Riddle me this. What if the cops came in? Nothing was in there. There was no disarray. Maybe there was a broken glass. Maybe. Okay. Maybe that. I'll give her that. He was angry. He was drunk, stumbled, and it broke. Right? Okay. Cops came in, saw the broken glass, saw that she was obviously worked up, but that's about it. And then they left. You don't think that all that stuff could have been made right when they left, just so she has more proof of said thing? Why would cops go in and say, we came in, we saw nothing? There was nothing there. Nothing was showing us that she was in dire straits. Did not show that there was DV. Did not show that she was being abused. Did not show that Johnny Depp put his hands on her. Then they said, okay, looks like everything's okay. Here's our business card. Call us if you need us. And they left. Now, there's one other thing, and I'll have to throw this in the recap tonight. But if you see the business card, on the back of that damn business card, did you see the writing? Doesn't the writing look a little familiar? The handwriting. Didn't the handwriting on the back of the card look a little familiar? I'm sorry for pulling out these speculations or to speculate, but don't you see it? Doesn't that seem a little strange? You don't think that you don't think that she, as soon as they left, she just added a little bit, wrote some stuff? What's your number? Okay, thank you, blah, blah, blah. And as soon as they left, flipped it over, said, contact us if you ever want to change your mind. I'm sorry. Maybe it really is their handwriting, and maybe it's not. But because of all the lies that have been laying out, it's hard to believe the boy who cried wolf. That's all I'm saying. I got a super chat here really, really quick. Political Vagabond, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I like Johnny Depp. I lived in West Memphis as a young adult, born and raised until I moved away. He came there to help defend the West Memphis 3 when they were being railroaded by the cops. Well, I appreciate you saying that, and I appreciate you giving me the $10 super chat. I really do appreciate it. But like I said, the handwriting seems a little strange. And then you see the handwriting, and I see you write orange peel as well. Analyze handwriting on card and the wall. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't have the card, but I do have the photos of the wall. So let me get that, the graffiti, the writing on the wall. Let's take a look at this really, really quick before I go into my own lunch break. But here it is. Call Carly Simon. She said it. She said it better, babe. There it is. That is her handwriting. Her handwriting down here. All caps. She writes in all caps. If you saw that photo of the business card, guess what it's written in? Just guess what it's written in. All caps. You're telling me that those cops write the same way she does? They write in all caps too? That's why I'm saying it hurts to be so inquisitive over every single last thing that she shows us. But as you see, she has been lying through her teeth since the day this whole thing started. Then you got the other photo of her sitting there, at the courthouse. And she has a bruise on her cheek out of nowhere, a fresh new bruise that just materialized out of nowhere. Remember, the bruising and all that was up here and then like right here. Then suddenly she has a bruise down here that has no connection to what happened up here. What is this? What is this, y'all? Like I said, Mims, just please, somebody make it make sense. Then, of course, she shows the bruise kit or her makeup, and it's not L'Oreal. Maybe it's Maybelline, but it's not. She even goes into great detail. Oh, after day 2, day 3. I mean, she is an actress. She is an actress. So she gets paid to put on makeup, bruising, makeup, and all that. And I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that she picks up. You feel me? That she'll pick up over time. All right. And if you've been on sets and stuff, you start to learn things. And of course, she's done all kinds of movies. Have all of them been good? I don't know. But I digress. So she learns a few things about bruising and how it works, you know, the science behind it. You heard her talk. That sounds like a woman that really knows her stuff. That sounds like a very smart woman that knows her ish. And obviously she is a talent. She is a talented person. I've never seen her art, but obviously she likes to paint. She likes to do all those things. You don't think that she's able to do certain things to give off a vibe of something? I'm just saying, I have to ask these questions because clearly the things that she has been saying since she got on the stand has been lie after lie after lie. Like I said, it is like the boy who cried wolf. It's really hard to believe any of it could be true when she's been screaming that you know, when she's been screaming nothing but lies this entire time. Literally, this could very well be. This could very well be the boy who cried wolf. And what will be sad is that a lot of it will not be. None of this can be. None of this can be confirmed, which sucks. None of this can be confirmed right now because she just keeps lying. And maybe there's some truth smashed in there somewhere, but I ain't not seen not one thing of truth. Again, you look at those photos, you look at how the whole place looks in these photos, and you're telling me, you're really, really telling me that was a room after a rage? You're telling me that was him doing all that crazy stuff? What crazy stuff? We saw picture frames on the floor. They were still intact, by the way. They were still intact. No broken glass on those frames that were on the bed and on the floor. The only one that was shattered was the one that was still hanging on the wall. Bottles that were shown on the floor. Not broken, not shattered, nothing. Where's the proof? Where are the facts? We're listening to the woman, and I'm not believing her right now. So it goes to you guys. You know, what are you feeling on this? Is this true? Is this not true? Do you believe her? Do you think this is all just one big fabrication? Let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. You know what I mean? But what I'm going to do is I got to jump off, of course, because it's the lunchtime, and I'm hearing that is a 2-hour wait. I guess the lunchtime is going to be 2 hours. So I'm gonna end this feed, but then I'm gonna come back for the next part. But right now, it looks like Cutie Pie 102. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. But when that is when their break is over, I will be back on again, and we will live through this again. But I really don't think that we're going to be seeing cross-examination happen today, because look at how slow Elaine's going through things. She is going through things as slow as molasses right now. So we're going to listen to the rest of this testimony in the next feed. Allegedly, they're not back on for another 2, I guess at 1:40. Yeah, 1:40. So I will be back on another feed, okay? Because I'm not going to let this run. I mean, that's just ridiculous, okay? But please jump on when I get back on. It's 12:40 Eastern time. So it's 30 minutes from now? Interesting. Okay. Well, if that's the case, I'm gonna kill it for now, but then I'm gonna go back up in a couple hours or as soon as it goes back on, and then we will watch the rest of today's trial. I do appreciate all y'all for watching this so far. Look out for part 2. I got to go get some lunch and eat real quick, but I will be back on the next stream very, very shortly. Let's continue the testimony that is of Amber Heard. A whole bag of weed. K9 IBS. That's a new one for me. Anyway, hit that like button down below. Okay, guys, please, please, please. And thank you. And do not forget to hit that subscribe button. All right. I talk about many, many things other than just the Amber Heard trial, but obviously that is the thing that you guys want, and I'm giving what you need. All right. So I'll see you guys in about 30 minutes, and we will continue this roller coaster ride, which is the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. $100 million on the line. Let's see what happens next. I'll see you guys soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll see you guys in about 30 minutes. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.